There. All right. I think we're set more or less. Pretty sure. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Goodness. My apologies for the coughing that will happen during the show today. There's very little that I can do about it, unfortunately, but we will press on. We will hope that I don't have huge coughing fits, only slight coughing fits. Excuse me. Hello, Draco Kraken. How are you doing? I hope it is well. Um. Oh, I should really do the thing that I thought about starting to do, which is go on Blue Sky and start actually like utilizing it as like a thing. If I can remember where I put the thing for it. Oh, it's in a different browser. Ugh. Flooded out of the house, but good otherwise. Oh, jeez. I'm sorry to hear that you're that's the case. Um, but hey, I'm glad you're good otherwise. Uh, there we go. Um, excuse me. All right. ttrpg hashtag podcast. Uh, hashtag live stream. There we go. Okay. I don't know if any of those tags are good. But hey, who knows, right? I I I'm trying to do the blue sky thing, right? Cuz you're supposed to do things like that. Why does it look so dark on blue sky? What the hell? I have no idea. Anyway, I'm doing my best with that. And I won't lie to you, uh my head is a little tired right now cuz you know, I'm getting over sickness still and had a big old coughing fit um like a half an hour ago and it hurts. But um I'm okay-ish right now. So that's something. It hasn't been too bad recently. So hey, wahoo, we're not dead. That's good. Hello, Timothy. Hope you're doing well as well. Um welcome. Welcome to the show. I have a few things to talk about before we begin. But we'll wait a couple more minutes because it's not technically 9 yet. Wahoo hey hey. Wahoo wahoo. Um, I'm gonna try very hard to cough away from my microphone when I'm when I cough. So do my best. Tornado passed 4 miles south of where I was on Wednesday, and another one passed a mile north of Verity Protects, and also endangers. Well, hello Shin and Entropy, and hello Verity. Good to see you all. Um, excuse me. Um, Tornadoes are scary, man. Now that I live in a state that experiences tornadoes and I hear the horror stories, um, I miss being up in Maine. Where the only thing that was a problem was everything got real fucking cold. And it would make it so that maybe your car wouldn't start sometimes. But other than that, like there was nothing, you know? Um, it really was quite good. But now I have to worry about tornadoes. And I don't even have a basement. So if a tornado comes here, I'm dead. It's over. I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'll just pack up my computer and my car and my cats, and we'll drive away. That's my plan. I'm good. I wish I could have got more lore done. Damn writer's block. I feel that, dude. I haven't been writing anytime recently. I've just been dying of sickness, which is great. Well, welcome everybody to Table Talk, Discussion, and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Great on95. And I don't know. I think Boo will be coming in at some point. I don't know about Aiden. But we will see. We'll see how it goes. I can say with confidence that I never should have watched Twister. Fair. Excuse me. My apologies for my coughing during the show. I came down with an illness. Not sure if it was a form of COVID or if it was the flu, but I came down with an illness of coughing, and then the next day coughing and sweating and flu-like symptoms and weakness and all of that, and then the next day coughing but no longer had a fever and such, and then the next day coughing, and then the next day coughing and then feeling a little nauseous when I went to work. And then the next day, still coughing, and coughing all throughout until today, where I still cough. Sometimes so hard that it hurts really bad. So, that's been me, and I apologize, because it has made it so that we have not been able to do a lot of content for you guys. I had to miss last week, and I wanted to do some more digital distraction streams, and I wanted to edit, but hey, we're doing it now, and all of that. So, saw the new Twister was boring, didn't care for it. I didn't even watch that one. I knew about it, but I didn't watch it. Confirmed Alejo is down with the sickness. Ooh, wah, indeed. Yes. It's really unfortunate, the timing and everything, but thankfully we didn't miss Vampire, which was really my main concern. It still happened this week. We just played Vampire not 2 hours ago is when we stopped. So that was good. That was good and fun. I tried to say both at the same time. And as you can tell right now, I'm not coughing so bad. And I wasn't coughing really bad when we were playing it. So the more that I speak and get into doing stuff, it seems like the less coughing I do, because I think my throat doesn't have time to inhale and cough. So don't mind me if I just continue going for a little while until I absolutely have to cough, like right now. Excuse me. My apologies. Anyway, few things to talk about. I'm not sure if I'm going to do editing tomorrow, because tomorrow is my birthday, and I might just take my birthday and just sit at home until my family wants to take me somewhere to eat, and then I'm gonna come back and sit at home again. I think I'm gonna spend my birthday pretty relaxed, I think. And then I'm going to get to editing on Monday. So that's a whole thing. Hope you feel better soon, bro. Thank you. I hope so too. This cough is really annoying, and I want it to go away. And all of that. Happy early birthday. Thank you. Excuse me. Yeah. So that's gonna be a thing. More importantly, I want to show you guys something. I got some samples in the mail of some stuff. Whoa! Whoa! So, I got some samples in the mail of these coasters. They are cork kind of coaster sets, but they have this nice finish on the front. I ordered 3 coaster sets. These are a little faded in my camera. I can tell you for a fact that they're a little darker than you would expect from the actual color of our avatars and such. But yeah, so they're nice little finished coasters that have each of our profile pictures on them. So that's actually stuff that's going to be available for purchase if you wish to. If you wish to. Again, this is a very big if you wish to. But I showed you guys Fourth Wall the other day. Oh, that's the video. Oh my goodness. I showed you Fourth Wall the other day a little bit, or I told you about it or something. I don't know. My head hurts. And we've got coasters on there for right now. That's the stuff that you can buy at the moment. We're gonna try to get some more stuff on here. I gotta get with the guys and actually design some more stuff to really put on there. But those are there. They're $10 a pop. If you want one, you get one for 10. That's up to you. Again, if you want to get them, the link will be in the description. It's https:// the TableTalk crew, or the -table talk-crew shop.fourthwall.com. It'll be in the description. You can go find the Fourth Wall site if you want to. Until we can get the shelf thing going, someday, maybe. This is a thing that you can go and look at. It's pretty bare bones, that thing. I want to make it better. The website itself, but we'll see. Anyway, so those are things that I wanted to show off because I wanted to get the samples in before I hawked them, if you will, just to tell you what I thought about them. And I quite enjoy them. They're coasters, right? So, you know, coasters are pretty universal. These ones are just these ones are not more than just the cork board material with that finish that you can kind of hear me tap on. So you can put drinks on our faces or whatever the fuck if you want. That's a thing. Also, if you get a tornado warning for your area, don't get in the car because you won't have time. Open some doors and windows and get into the room without any windows if you have one. I do not. Just meditate or something, I guess? Yeah. Well, yeah, it's true, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway. They work like Skylanders, put them on the portal, and they pop out and commentate on the video you're watching. Dude, that would be sick. I would love that. But no. So that's coming. That is a thing that you can do, and I'm hoping to get keychains and stuff soon. I ordered a copy of one. They're a little expensive, so I'm just getting the samples in before I start getting those up as well. So that is a thing. Another thing to note, hey, we're getting more legitimate, quote unquote, if you want to call it that. We also are affiliated with DriveThruRPG. No, that fucking I can't. Okay, DriveThruRPG. We have a link now that you can use. It's hold on. Yeah, it's in the description as well. It's this link here. I don't know how to show you this easily, actually. But if I do this, maybe? No, you can't really see that, can you? Well, there's a link in the description. And oh, you know what? Wow. So, yeah. This is the legacy site. I don't know if it works with the regular site, but the whole thing was like putting this thing at the end. This whole thing is the way that it tracks. It's our link. So if you want to go to DriveThruRPG and you use our link, apparently within like 15 days, if you purchase stuff using our link, it gives us like a 5% like commission thing, I guess. I don't know. but we're affiliated now with drive-thru RPG and the other various the cards, the comics, the fiction, these kinds of things. I don't know about these necessarily, but definitely these. If you utilize the affiliate ID at the end, it counts as us. So if you want to get stuff through there, hey, you can, and it helps support us. So that's something else to of note that I wanted to share. So, whoops. So, yeah, I think that's it there. Thank you for indulging me in me telling you about stuff that we've now affiliated and such with. I apologize for all the shilling right in the video, right early in the video. But hey, there you go. Anyway. Even closet would be better than nothing. Otherwise, just try to find the most cover you can. Oh yeah, I know. I have a closet at least that I can throw myself in. Bought my friend's game through drive-thru RPG. Oh, that's true. Contact is on there. Hell yeah. I should buy Contact through that. Because I have the stuff, but I actually do want to own it. So yeah. But yeah, we're affiliated with drive-thru RPG. So there you go. Anyway. That's enough shilling. That's enough talking about that shit. Let's move on to the topic for tonight, hey? So, in the title, you have seen, it is metagaming. We haven't talked about metagaming in a very long time, but videos of it still do exist out there on the internet. People do not like metagaming, people embrace metagaming, and so, the question is, should we avoid it? Or should we embrace it? That is the question. Interestingly enough, the video that I have prepared first is shorter than the other video, which is about more accepting it. But, you know, we'll see what the arguments are. So this first video comes to us from Roll for Initiative. We've covered Roll for Initiative a couple of times here and there. This is a little less than 10 minutes, so we'll see if there's anything here that we have that's new, or anything that's maybe a little weird as evidence for avoiding metagaming as a player, as this states. So we shall see. Hello, Dave. She seems way too happy for this late on a Saturday night. Yeah, you know. Excuse me. We will see. Here we go.
Hi folks, today's video is all about how to avoid metagaming.
Sorry, how to avoid metagaming? Okay, yeah. Let's see.
So I've seen a lot of videos out there that are geared towards the Dungeon Master, Game Master, of how to prevent your players from metagaming. But if you're a player, you probably want to avoid it in the first place. And I haven't seen a whole lot of advice on how to do that from the player's side. So that's what this video is about.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, it is true that most things really do stress it on the Dungeon Master side to prevent your players from doing it. And what I would say... Oh, I guess it depends on your group and what you want from the game. Yeah, I mean... So... excuse me. So... Metagaming is inevitable, I think. Just in general, because you will think of stuff outside of the game, but it doesn't have to be acted upon, right? Like, you don't have to utilize that out-of-character knowledge, or you don't have to utilize stuff that your character never heard before. Got those coasters ordered like a real fan? Shin. No, that's... Thank you very much for ordering the coasters. But it's not... Excuse me. I appreciate it very much. Nobody has to order the coasters, but it is very, very, Thank you. I don't know. I hope you enjoy the coasters. I hope you enjoy the coasters. Please. I think they're decent quality, and I just, that's fucking hell. Um anyway, um so excuse me. So obviously, the the information doesn't have to be utilized, is what I'm saying, and we've said it many a time for a long time. Or we've said that it's easy to compartmentalize information. At least for us, it is. And I don't know how it can't be, in the sense that you act in your character's instance, right? You act in your character's uh you act in your character's headspace. That's the better way to say it. And so, utilizing the information that your character has, you can make those kinds of decisions and stuff. All three, otherwise it wouldn't be a full set. Oh god. Well, thank you. Um, excuse me. Um, so yeah. So I don't know, when you look at it from a metagame perspective, in the sense of outside of the game, I don't think it's that hard to say, oh yeah, my character wouldn't know this, so I won't utilize that in their decision. It just doesn't mesh with my thinking of how a character would work, to utilize that information. Hello, Pizza Funk. Now, obviously, it has happened in my gameplay, or my gaming experience, and others have also done this. And hell, it's happened in when the group of us, the actual crew, we play games together. Sometimes we accidentally act on information that the character shouldn't have, and we say, "Ooh, sorry. Oh, okay. We accidentally used this. I don't think my character should know this. Let's bring it back. If we could retcon it a bit, and not actually do it this way, because that's a little unfair. Because the experience of your game is more important than like winning, I guess. Right? At least that's how it feels to me. Having the experience feel natural, feel complete, and feel like a lived in kind of world and life that you are playing as, that's more important than potentially winning the scenario, in a way. At least that's how I view it, right? Because I find it so much more interesting when we are going at it from that perspective of just, this is in front of my guy or my gal or them, and but just character in general. It's just the easiest way to say it. This is in front of my character, and this is how they react to the situation. This is how the world works. I wouldn't have. I mean, sure, people have like sparks of inspiration here and there, but it's not like from an omnipotent being who's controlling them in this case, right? At least you wouldn't think so. But I don't know. If I had the money, I would have gotten the dice by now. You're good. No worries. I actually, thank you for reminding me. I plan on putting the dice themselves on Fourth Wall, so that it's an easier experience to purchase them. Thank you for reminding me. I'll go do that after the show today. Anyway. What am I saying? Yeah, so metagaming isn't too difficult to prevent and retract if you're doing it, right? And there are instances, like in Vampire, okay? The characters learn about a faction, and in out of character, the players know about the faction, right? But just because of that doesn't mean that, I still don't go into my diatribe a little bit, at least briefly, about that faction, just in general. One, because we're doing the show of the actual play for it, and I want to explain that for people who might be tuning into Vampire for the first time, and also just because maybe not everybody at the table knows it, so that they can have that general knowledge for if and when their character finds out about it. Right, and so they can have the notes and such as well. But I also trust that my players aren't going to use that information in a way that will benefit them when their character doesn't know the information, right? I think metagaming is one of those things where you extend trust to your players a lot of the time, giving them information or knowing that they have information in their head that their character doesn't necessarily know, and just trusting that they aren't going to utilize it in a way that ruins the experience for themselves and others. And I think that most of the time that's the case. That's how it plays out. Because nobody wants it to be a bad experience. They just want to have fun with their friends. Excuse me. Okay. Let's continue.
Before we get into how to avoid it, what is metagaming and why is it bad?
Define your
Metagaming
terms.
is when you are using player knowledge or knowledge your character does not have in the game. And the reason that most people don't like metagaming is because it breaks immersion. So if you're playing a much more story character-driven game, if you're using player knowledge that your character doesn't have, it doesn't really make sense. And it also, from a mechanics standpoint, can be very frustrating. If you have the entire monster manual memorized, that's going to take a lot of the fun. If you know going in, I know exactly how to beat this. Well, then it's just rolling dice and smashing each other. It takes some of the fun of figuring things out of the game. And when you're a player, sometimes
with the memorization of a monster, I guess, when you have played enough, I feel like you might just have this happen naturally, which doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be taking the or not having a good experience because you know how to fight something already, you know? Oh, goodness. I think, because I fought many a goblin, I know they're pretty easy to hit, right? Because I know what a troll is, I know that they need to be defeated with fire, right? Excuse me. So, like, it's easy enough to assume that not every goblin, not every troll, not everything is going to be the same and work exactly the same. And also, I think the more important thing for that kind of instance is how you defeat the monster. What are you utilizing in the area to defeat the monster, rather than knowing the exact answer, right? Because, like, I guess my argument is just that if you know something, if you know how a monster can be defeated, wouldn't that make it so that when you play, or sorry, using this logic, when you play too much, quote unquote, then the game itself would become boring to you, because every time you go against any monster, because you've already fought it so much, then, like, it wouldn't be anything new, I guess, to you. That's where the changing up of how monsters act, their tactics, their stats, potentially, like, all of the things that make that monster a monster, or whatever the adversary is, changing that up is what will really matter more than the memorization of the monster's existence and their weaknesses and stuff. And hell, in those instances where you're a character who might be, like, high intelligence in the sense of well-read, you know, you're the wizard, okay? Let's take a stereotypical, you're the wizard, you've studied a lot of spell books, you've read a lot. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You've sequestered. Oh, excuse me. You've secluded or sequestered yourself as a scholar to learn a lot, right? And then once you go into the field, can you then utilize that knowledge that you might have by asking for a check from your DM to then explain why you metagame know the information? You know, you can kind of play with it in a sense that because you are experienced as a player, you can make your character a little more experienced in the world for certain things, right? So I don't know. It's something that you can kind of work around a few different ways if it's supposed to be for you, right? Or if you're going at from your perspective of, I'm the player, I don't want to ruin this for me, because you're the one who's experiencing it. But this is the thing: if you succeeding all the time is how you want to like succeed in the game, then it's probably a dungeon crawler most of the time, at least in style. And that knowledge is actually good to have. This really depends on a lot of different factors, I think. But I really think that not utilizing the knowledge is so easy that it doesn't matter, right? I guess metagaming would only bother me if the GM or other players make me do it in some way. Well, so I guess it's the thing of like, if you're in a situation and your fellow players are just beating everything because they know all of the shit, then why would that ruin the experience for you because they are just saying, "Oh, I know that troll is weak against fire. Let's all just use fire, right? And we'll beat the troll real easy." And like you just do that every time, whenever you come across anything. Would that be frustrating? It might be. But this is the thing. I don't think a lot of people are doing that, and even if they do, I don't know if a lot of people mind that much, I guess. This is why the easiest way for a DM to get past this is to just make all their monsters unique, right? That's just the easiest way. And by unique, of course, I mean you're fucking with the stats, at least. You don't need to make it a completely unique monster, but, monster stats are an average. Many DMs know this. Yes, also true. And as a player, you would also know this if you're memorizing the handbook, because it literally says, oh, this is the average. Most of the time. Excuse me. I have a hard time metagaming at chess, let alone a TTRPG. Yeah, fair. I don't think I would want to make every new character for the same player relearn that trolls are weak to fire every time. I'd just let that be treated as common knowledge after the first time. Oh yeah, well that's the thing as well. Some things might be common knowledge to people in the world, It's those unique monsters that actually might be something that's like, oh, you wouldn't know anything about that. Like a fucking aboleth, right? You find an aboleth, you don't know shit about that thing. Like, yeah, maybe you fought a couple, in your time playing games, but like your character would not know shit about aboleths necessarily, right? Stuff like that. I always thought, I assume, that it would be fun to play as a monster biologist, but never did it for fear of metagaming frustrations. Dude, monster biologist would be sick. Yeah, that would be so much fun. Oh my god, Excuse me. Anyway, let's continue.
It can be difficult to avoid accidentally metagaming, but this is some advice that I've found and talking with other people to help kind of rein in any accidental metagaming. First, that I find super helpful is taking notes. So this helps me if I need to reference, like, does my character know this or not? I can go back and check my notes. Also within this, I will make like little symbols or side notes to indicate to myself, was this something that my character learned or another character learned? Because oftentimes I'll take notes of on, you know, scenes where other characters are gathering information, but I'll make a note that my character hasn't learned this yet, and then, you know, scratch that out once my character has learned that information, if they ever do.
See, okay, that's why I let that play, because I was like, immediately I was like, ooh, uh-oh. But I'm glad she specified, because otherwise that would have been sad. Yeah, absolutely. When you're taking notes, make sure that you denote whether or not it's in character or not. Only take notes in character potentially if you really want to do it that way, unless you're the party scribe, in which case, you know, take all of the notes and just do the notations and stuff, right? But you know, you can take notes however you want. It's just with that kind of information, you can also ask your fellow players and say, oh, hey guys, was I there to learn about this? If you can't remember. Because somebody will probably remember, like, in that scene, I don't know if you were there, actually. I don't think you were. Because it was me and this guy, and we were talking about this, and, yeah, I don't think you were there, so you wouldn't know about that yet. And you go, oh, okay, cool. You know? It's pretty easy stuff, I think. So, you know, do your best with the note-taking stuff.
This is also helpful to maybe write down notes of, like, Dawn has figured something out. Nexon hasn't figured this out.
Why?
Nexon hasn't had a reason to figure something out. So I'll write down a note of, like, Dawn, I've figured out who the big bad is.
So, okay. This is an interesting thought. That's the thing. Tempering your conclusions with your character's conclusions. Oh... Would you do such a thing, potentially? Yeah. Alright, sorry. Okay, Boo will not be joining us tonight, unfortunately. The Call of the Void, as he calls it, which I also agree, is irresistible. So, I agree. Character knowledge is pretty important in my writings. I always need to remind myself which characters know what. Oh yeah, absolutely. I would never tell you if I had figured out who the big bad is. Well, you know, that's you know. If I'm running a mystery, I usually expect players to put some of their own intellect into it. Yes, exactly. There are instances where I definitely have come to conclusions because of information that I'm not necessarily sure my character would. But I don't know. I think the void is life. That is true. I think that you could make the argument that a lot of the time, the average person we will go really broad with this, okay? And I'm gonna make a little bit of a generalization, so apologies if you do not agree with this. I'm perfectly happy with this not being the case, but you can make an assumption at least that most people in the world have an average intelligence at least of 10, okay? If we're talking in D&D terms, right? That's supposed to be right in the middle, average intelligence. That's what you're supposed to assume. There are people who are above that. There are people who are below that because there are children, usually. They don't know so much, right? Wisdom, the same thing, all of this kind of stuff. If you think about it that way, and you can gauge yourself on the scale here and there. I don't know what, you know, that's dependent on you, but regardless of that fact, I think that most people can figure stuff out pretty okay, and they can utilize their knowledge in the character's stead and say, okay, I think my character would have figured this out because I figured it out. All the clues are here, and I'm writing them down as if my character has taken note of these. So they're all in my notebook, which is my character's brain, basically. So why not let my character come up with the answer because they're all here, right? It's a way to kind of do it in that kind of sense. And if if you are playing a character with lower wisdom, lower intelligence, lower whatever, lower charisma, all that kind of stuff, like, you can just not take some of the notes and not utilize them as much as you want because it feels more in character. But there are some things that would very much, like, you will then go, oh, I know what it is, but I don't think my character knows. Right? And that's like, that's fine. We can go by that kind of usage of it. I don't think that you necessarily figuring out, as you put it, the big bad's identity or the answer to the mystery, as Dave has put it, that I don't think it's a problem for you to then say, oh, I get it, and so my character has gotten it. It's not necessarily metagaming, I don't think, right? If you make a character like Sherlock, then yes, they will know who the bad guy is. If you make a character from Curly from Three Stooges, then no. Well, exactly, right? But like I said, even the average person, I feel like, can figure a lot of things out. So I don't see why, if you are playing a character who is just like an average person, then why wouldn't they also be able to figure it out? Because, again, they've been paying attention to the same things that you are, because you wrote them down. As long as it's not the out-of-character knowledge. If you're utilizing the out-of-character knowledge to come to the conclusion that, excuse me, that come to the conclusion that you have already come to, then that's not going to help, right? Force low-end characters to use smaller notebooks? No. They can use big notebooks. It's just that they can only write, like, 3 or 4 words in a sentence. They can't use, like, so many descriptive adjectives or anything, something like that. I don't know. Excuse me. It also may not matter if your character knows or not. A lot of times excuse me, God, the big bad guy in position is in a position where you need more evidence than I have a hunch to accuse them of anything. That's also true. Just because you've come to the conclusion doesn't mean you can act upon it either. But this is just in general for every kind of situation. If you can figure it out, I'm pretty sure your character can figure it out more often than not. Unless you are deliberately playing a character with the inability to think as well as you. Curly totally knows how to do it. Now, Mo, on the other hand, that is true. Larry's just like the guy. Larry might even know. He's just like a guy. Larry's the most, like, average person out of that group. It's weird. He has, like, no traits to him as far as I can remember. Play a character with amnesia and only take notes with a whiteboard. Ooh, that would be interesting. Short-term memory loss, really. That would be very interesting, actually. Tempting indeed. All right.
And then we'll wait until it makes sense for my character to figure that out. Another way to avoid metagaming is ask your game master. If you as a player go, I know what the stats of a troll are and I know what it's vulnerable to, but I'm not sure if my character knows, just ask your game master. Yeah. Is this something my character would know? Your game master might have you roll, or they might say, yeah, you've run into this before, you already know this. This also goes for more like institutional or cultural knowledges. If you're not sure, ask your game master. And if you're playing a character that gives in the backstory, like Rangers, oftentimes you get to pick a couple of monsters that you know. If you're playing some character like a wizard or somebody who has maybe a little bit more institutional knowledge, perhaps as you're creating that character, you might sit down and ask your game master, what are the things that I should know that my character would know about this world? So then you can keep, a quick note of that on your character sheet and be able to reference that when it comes up. Sometimes you can.
So yeah, that's what I said. Hey, ask about it. It never hurts to ask the questions, right? Don't feel intimidated, obviously, that you are asking a stupid question or anything, because you're not. You just want to clarify things, right? Everybody wants to make sure that they have all of the information that they need in order to figure out a situation. So ask clarifying questions until you are fully satisfied that you understand the situation. Because it's going to be beneficial for you, and it might be beneficial for other people as well. We can take the fucking time, in the sense of, we can take the fucking time of, like, excuse me. Oh my goodness. Of making the fight take, like, 5 to 10 minutes longer, just so that everybody is aware of what the fuck is going on. Right? That's any situation. So, the common question of, would my character know this? Easy thing to ask, easy thing to answer. Might take a few minutes for the DM to really think about it, but please, just, it never hurts. I always thought it'd be cool to have a short with Mo, Larry, and Curly and Champ in it at the same time. I don't know who Champ is. Excuse me.
Can metagame when another character has learned information if your character hasn't gotten that information yet. Something you can do so that the first character doesn't have to just like exposition like all the same info that the game master just said is, come up with a shorthand of, as soon as everybody's back together, I tell everybody everything I learned, and then you don't have to repeat everything, but it provides the reason in the game why everybody else now has this information.
Yeah, that's a common thing as well, of just, I when I say something to my players when they're together and they ask me a question of, oh, would I know about this? Usually I tell them a whole thing of like, oh, this is what you know about this, and then they say, okay, and I say all of that. Right? Because it's so much easier to at least do that. That way everybody's informed about stuff, but also I find it is interesting when they don't do that and they tell it in their version. The character says things in their version. Chimp was the third stooge before Curly, and he also returned after Curly retired. I had no idea. Wow. Okay. The other real-life brother of Mo and Curly. Oh, really? Oh, I had no idea. Oh. I've learned something new. I never really looked at the Three Stooges much, I only knew Larry, Mo, and Curly. Interesting. Chimp. I'll look into that later. That's quite interesting. Anyway, maybe that's why Larry was such a nobody nothing. Oh, wait, no, before Curly. Am I thinking of the wrong person? Really? Okay, that's weird. Anyway, sorry, I thought you said, for some reason I was thinking Larry. Anyway, interesting stuff. I'll look into it. Okay.
And then as a player, just remind yourself, until you do get everybody back together, you don't have the information the other characters have. Another bit of advice is resist the urge to look things up, especially if you're playing online. Like, you can just Google something so easily, but don't do it, because that is going to, result in you having a higher chance of metagaming. So if you want to not have to struggle between like what my character knows and what the player knows, just take that, just don't do it. Don't look it up. Set aside the monster manual and say, I'll look at it when I'm game mastering, but I'm not going to read through it if I'm just a player.
Sure. Alternative, you can just not use the information that you learn. Just don't. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to say, I wouldn't force my players to not read stuff. If they want to Google something and maybe ruin something for themselves, that's totally up to them. There's nothing I can do about it, one way or the other. Again, that's their experience. It's not necessarily mine that I have to worry about in that case. I can't prevent them from doing it. That's the whole thing. I'm not their fucking dad, right? And I don't want to be. I'm just going to trust that they're not going to do it if they want to maintain mystery of some things. And if they already know about these things, I'm not going to ask, like, you know, I'm not going to ask them to not think about it, you know? That's just it. It's the easiest way for it to go. Larry had the curly hair. Curly was the bald one. Yes, I remember. Chimp had cone-parted hair on both sides. Oh, okay. He had 2 parts? How does that work? I don't know. I'm not your dad.
Another common time where players find themselves metagaming is with bad rolls. I sometimes have to remind myself about this, and I'm sure, plenty of people do, that my character has no idea what the DC of something is. So if I don't make the DC, especially with like looking for traps or perception checks, my character is not going to know that they did something poorly unless the game master kind of narrates it that way.
Sure.
So I try to remind myself, don't react to the roll, react to the description the game master provides me. And this also goes for when other players make a roll for their character. Like if the rogue always searches for traps and most of the time finds a trap, the one time that they roll really low, my character's not going to have a reason to question them when they say, everything's fine. So just kind of remind yourself.
Yeah. Okay, for a second I was like, what? What are you talking about? So, obviously, when you're failing in your game, if you utilize your out-of-character knowledge that, I failed, then... and say, actually, my character will go through with like a fine-tooth comb and really look for traps. Let's go with the traps thing. And then the dungeon master goes, okay, you don't need to. You don't find any traps because you failed. So, like, I don't know. This is something. Is this? So this video is like 3 years old. I don't know. I guess maybe this is made for newer players most of the time. Most of these things are, I guess, is the assumption that I should be using. Newer players might do that in the sense of really trying to commit to the bit here. What I would say is the things that do allow them to are sometimes written into games, though 5e, if we're going by 5e rules, since this is 3 years ago, that was the most current edition, so I'm going to at least assume that that's the edition that we're going from. It doesn't have a take 10, it doesn't have a take 20 option like 3.5 did, and so you can't, I mean... You had, like, passive stuff, I think, and I don't know... Or, you absolutely had passive skills, but I don't know if there was anything that was like, you can just do this in a lot more time. Though I would allow take 10s and take 20s, really, if we were in a situation where they really just didn't want to fuck it up, but it would just take a lot of time, and that's its own pitfall, right? Because potentially you might not... go, where you need to go at the right time, or you might miss out on something, or something might find you, or whatever it might be, right? So, yeah, Dave, excuse me, gotta choose a neutral outcome phrase for when the player fails a trap check. You make no determination. So, something like that, absolutely. What I like to do as well, what a lot of people like to do, is also give them paranoia. In the sense of, you look around and you don't think you find any traps. So yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, you give them that little, you don't think so. You're pretty sure that you didn't find anything. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna keep going, or what you doing? Because then they go, oh no, and then if you don't have any traps, they get to go, oh thank God, And then if you do have some traps, they get to go, fuck, I knew it! Right? But that's also just because that's more fun, at least from me. But if I really want to be more inscrutable, I would absolutely go with the neutral kind of option. Yeah, I think I have a tell that makes that harder to work in my games. That's fair. I understand that. Yeah. No. The neutral option of like, oh, well, yeah, you're not sure, something like that. But yeah, I don't know. No determination is pretty much a good way to have it be a very neutral way to say that they just don't find anything, or they don't or they might find something, or I don't know. It's just, for me, I like when I can get the players to go a lot more. But most of the time, I will say, most of the time with my friends, with the other people that I have played with in the past as well, that most of the time we don't run into the people saying, "Oh, I just check for traps again," right? Because we all kind of understand that at that point the character does know, "Oh yeah, I didn't find anything. All right, cool, must be fine." Something like Vampire, as we've been playing it, does put in the rules of you can retry skills as much as possible, but you just get a penalty every time you do so, up to the point of only having one die to roll with, which means that you won't succeed no matter the fuck what, probably. But excuse me. The consequences, of course, are time and the potential to fail. And hell, you might even get a bestial failure, and that's real bad. So, yeah, I don't know. But there's also failing forward as well, that's really outlined in those rules a lot. And, yeah, I don't know. It's got a lot of mechanics that I much prefer in these kinds of cases. I would love to see someone try to do a Three Stooges campaign of D&D or Pathfinder. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Rolls a 1. I'm the best trap finder. If I don't see any traps, there aren't any traps. Yep, exactly. You're very confident you didn't find any traps. There are no traps in this room. You're sure of it.
To set aside the numbers, and that will kind of help you avoid metagaming that aspect. Want to take a moment to thank all of our patrons, especially Arvi. If you want to support our channel, you can head on over to our Patreon page and check out the perks of being a patron. All right, back to the advice. Okay. Don't chime in if your character's not in a scene. I think that's something that can often lead to you metagaming. It can also lead to other players then metagaming because you've reminded them of something and your character wasn't there to remind them of that.
Yeah, this is something that does happen quite often. Somebody isn't in the scene and they pipe up about it. In which case I go, "Oh, that's a great idea. You're not there." But most of the time, again, most of the people that I've played with, including our current group, we'll just joke around with each other and say, "Oh, fuck, if I was there, I would have done this." And it's like, well, that's a good idea, but you're not fucking there. And, the person who's actually there doing the stuff goes, "Yeah, man, oh well, I guess my character does this," because we've got the understanding, at least of that, at this point, right? And yeah, I guess for newer players, that's the harder thing to do, to really kind of understand before then, of like, "Oh, hey man, cool. You're not there though, so maybe we could, I mean, if you ever come into the same situation, hell, you might be able to do that, but right now this is his scene, so could you just let it play out? I know, I get it. It's cool, and you want to chime in because you think it's neat, but let's just let this happen," right? good etiquette to not chime in anyway. Don't want to be the game hog. Also true. It is good etiquette. Again, I understand it's you know, you want to make a joke, you want to do funny stuff when you're excuse me. You want to you know, be a part of it when you're not necessarily there or when you're just listening, but it's just sometimes it can ruin the moment for sure. There's a movie where the Stooges met King Arthur. I think they could go off that. Sure. They also met Scooby-Doo. They also became superheroes, and then they also met Scooby-Doo as superhero Stooges. So we can do a lot of things.
So just, remember, if I'm not in a scene, just like find a way to, if you really need help with that, find a way to kind of, flip your character sheet over, or if you're playing online, mute yourself so you remove that, like, right, I'm not in the scene. I should not chime in.
I'm always happy when we have the more modern takes of advice. I don't know. I know that we're now in the age of post-COVID stuff. This being 3 years ago, we were pretty close to the end of the big COVID, times. But I think that a lot of the time it feels like, at least, we need to caress his character sheet. Do you want this? But I think that I appreciate it a lot more because we are in that age that this is the way that we can play with people a lot more reliably, at least now. And it's become more of a center, more of a fixture of the hobby itself. Because fucking hell, I would love to play in person with my friends. But we all are across the world, in different ways. So there's rarely ever going to be a time that we're all in the same room. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. So it's just good to tailor your advice to the fact that we are in the digital age. We have been in the digital age for a very long time. And we need to really make sure that we include those kinds of features, the accessibility features that we have now, Old King Cole. Oh, he was a merry old soul. And a merry old soul was he.
Approach to kind of avoid metagaming is play your character, not your character sheet. So focus on what your character would usually do. If your character has a kind of default attack choice that they have when they're up against a monster, go with that default attack choice until they learn that doesn't work. Like if you're up against something that is vulnerable to lightning damage, but you always go in and the first thing you do is throw a fireball, then go in and throw a fireball, even if you as a player know, oh, that thing is vulnerable to lightning.
Sure.
Try and remind yourself, I'm not going to change the character's behavior based on my player knowledge.
Yes.
And I know some people are tempted to metagame because they're worried, I, as a player, can recognize this is an important story moment or an important item, but my character might not realize that something is here that they're going to miss. And just trust the game master. If it's really, really important for your characters to get that information or to get that item, your game master is probably going to find a way to reintroduce that to you if you miss it.
Yes.
So, trusting your game master is going to also help you avoid metagaming.
I think just in general, you should at least trust that your GM is going to, like, they have your best interests in heart, really. Like, yeah, they definitely are running the monsters and stuff, but they want you to succeed. Like, that's what we want, man. I throw these things at you because it's supposed to be a little challenge to overcome on your way to succeeding, like, sure, some things, you might be playing a game, excuse me, you might be playing a scenario where your characters are probably going to die. But that's the end of the scenario. That's a different thing. You are technically succeeding on the way there, and you might succeed even when you die. It's just, you know, I don't know. There's we don't need to win all the time. You know, I don't need to win all the time. I want to just play the game. I want to experience the game. I want to experience what's going on. I'm gonna do my fucking best, but that doesn't mean that if my character dies or if I lose, quote unquote, that it's a bad thing, right? There's no, I don't know. I never find it helpful to ever think that I'm winning or losing, I guess. I just I look at it purely from the experience of, well, that was a good experience, like my character is going to remember, or that's a bad experience that my character is going to remember and potentially learn from. I don't know. It never, like, yes, it's a game, but it never, even in a lot of like regular old board games or video games or anything, the experience is more what matters rather than necessarily winning, I guess. I don't know. It's just an easy way to look at things, at least I think. How in character you are might also matter. Oh yeah, sure. When you're in character enough, you might not ever think about anything outside of the game to then utilize as metagame knowledge, right? Like it could be that you never have to worry about it because of that, which works. Yeah. There you go, Dragon Kraken. So you want to win at D&D. What if success gives you the bad ending? It could. Yeah. You never know, right? Who knows? Maybe you were the baddies the whole time. Maybe there was a huge misunderstanding. You'll never know. That's the thing. You just want to go with it. And you just want to see where the story takes you. You want to see where your character's choices are going to take you. And you're going to go through it and hopefully not die. And if you do die, well, that's also not necessarily the end. You know? Death is not the end necessarily in something like D&D. Winning at Undertale gives you the bad ending, but it's still winning, and that's all that matters. Right, exactly.
And you might want to, as a group, discuss how are you going to handle metagaming, because at some point it's going to happen. No matter how hard you try, every player is at some point going to accidentally metagame something. So I think it's helpful to kind of have some little phrases, non-confrontational phrases, just to remind people, asking, does your character know this? Hey, you're not there in the scene if somebody's chiming in on something that their character's not present for.
Right.
Stuff like that just will help each other catch those moments where it's like, oh, yep, no, my character wouldn't know this, you're right. Never mind, we can...
Wait, okay, I was wondering if we were going to talk about maybe retconning stuff and all of that. Yay! It wasn't super explicit, but it is there. Awesome. Good. Yes, all of this is true. Do the things. You will accidentally metagame. It is true. It's not the end of the world. We don't have to worry about it that much. It's okay. Just as long as you recognize it and you don't throw a fit, we're alright. And if your DM doesn't throw a fit. And this is the other thing. If you metagame and then later on you go through so much that it's like, ooh, I don't think we can even retcon this anymore. That's okay too. It's something that it's just like, well, damn. Alright, well, in the future, we gotta just remember what we know and what we don't know, D&D does invoke the rule of mostly dead. True. Also, does the metagaming break major parts of the plot the GM wanted to do? Could. Yeah, it could. That's the thing. It absolutely could. Again, it is a whole thing of you... I really think that it's not that big a deal because you can just not act on the information that you don't know. Or that your character doesn't know. I think it's just as simple as that. There's no other way that I can explain it than just saying, just don't do it if your character doesn't know. Like, that's just it. That's just easy, right? If it's something like a mystery that you're trying to piece together and you figure it out, well, then your character probably figured it out. That's easy. Are you if you're playing a very high intelligence character, well, sure, they would probably get it before you, but they didn't. You did right now, so now they can know it, right? If you're playing an average intelligence character, oh, well, you got it. Here we go, you know? I don't know.
Pull that back. So what are your thoughts on metagaming and how to avoid it, when to avoid it? I'd love to continue the conversation down in comments below. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you hit like, and don't forget to subscribe because we make videos here every week about tabletop RPGs and our other geeky interests. All right, I'll see you next time on Roll for Initiative. Bye!
Good video! Excuse me. Alright. Good video. You did good. You said the good things. There's more of it left? What is left? Oh. This. Ah, outtake. Okay, gotcha. Sure, yeah. Whatever. Being fair, I've met a lot of IRL high intelligence people who are not the smartest at all things. Oh yeah, that's also true. Like, I'm an idiot. I don't fucking know anything, right? I just go with what I know. And I know some things and I don't know other things, right? So, like, I would never claim that I'm smart. People call me smart and I say, no. I just know things. That's all. I believe I've stolen that from Aiden. So you can credit him for that. But regardless, it is true. I'm not smart. I just know things. That's all. And if I utilize those things correctly, then great. If I don't utilize those things correctly, well, that's unfortunate. But I'm not smart. In the Stooges game, the big bads are the Marx Brothers. Why does that ring a bell? I feel like, am I crazy or did I watch the Angry Video Game Nerd play the Three Stooges game? I feel like that's... I think he did a video of that. Yeah. I think he did. I don't know. Anyway. Over time, the odds of any bit of trivia becoming relevant increases. Very true. Very true. I was right. I did watch him. That was 11 years ago. Holy shit. He's been doing that forever. Anyway. Okay. Let's move on, everybody. We have now learned how to avoid metagaming. But what about if I told you that metagaming can be good in D&D 5e? What would you say to that? I don't know. What I would say is, that sounds like an interesting video. So, this is Pack Tactics. I believe we've covered Pack Tactics once before. And Pack Tactics is a respected YouTube channel that has to do with Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. So we shall see what they have to say about this, because this is a very, 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 very interesting premise. Excuse me. Scandalous indeed. I'm really trying not to die. Okay. I don't know things, I'm just smart. Dunning-Kruger effect. That'd be very great. But yes, so I believe we covered Pack Tactics once, and it was a pretty good video from what I remember. But regardless, I am interested in seeing what the argument is for this, because you never hear this. You never, ever, ever hear this. Everybody hates metagaming on YouTube. Everybody does, except for Pack Tactics, I think. So, I don't know. Laura and Hardy own the inn you stay at. Of course, now the writer's block stops. There you go. Anyway.
Recently, I saw a meme compilation about metagaming, which made me think it's probably time to talk about metagaming finally. Make sure to check out Icebrick's article on Tabletop Builds too about the subject, because we pretty much agree with each other. Welcome to Pack Tactics, where metagaming and optimization is evil, and we like evil. Meta this, meta that. Have you ever met a game before? What does that even mean? I don't know. Let's start the video. The definition of metagaming that is commonly used in tabletop role-playing games is something like acting according to information the player possesses, but which their character does not.
May I start off by saying thank you very much for defining the terms, as was done in the last video, of course, too, but it's one of those things that we need to say what our terms mean in order to really understand what we're talking about. So, and if people don't know what I'm talking about, I try very hard to define it for them. I try to really explain what I'm talking about in a way that hopefully can make sense to them as much as it makes sense to me, you know? So good job. Good job. Alejo, if you die, you can just activate revival protocols. That is true. I do have the appropriate command points. I think certain... Excuse me, I'm sorry. I think certain episodes of Critical Role brought the worst of meta to light and universally drove the hobby against it. Really? Certain episodes of Critical Role? Okay. I don't remember a lot of Critical Role stuff, to be fair. It has been quite a few years since I stopped watching them. But if that's where it's coming from, I guess that's unfortunate, and it makes sense because it's the popular thing, and a lot of people are like, when they see a thing they don't like on something that's very popular. So maybe that could be. Damn, speaking of old humor, it's not bad. I'm not annoyed by it, you know? It's definitely there. Missed opportunity to call it metagaming is good, actually. No, that would have been... Sometimes the is good, is bad, actually things work for me, but I see it too much now, and I'm like, okay. Sure.
Metagaming is often seen as synonymous to bad play.
True.
Something you should not do.
Right.
It implies you ruin immersion at best. And at worst, that you are cheating. That doesn't sound great, does it?
No.
But believe me, this is a very narrow perspective.
Okay.
Let me explain why. First off, it's just difficult to tell when something actually is metagaming or...
Is it? What do you mean? If we're utilizing the information, or if we're utilizing the definition? Well, hold on. Before I get too far into this, was this a April Fool's video? I've just thought of this as a possibility. I've just thought of this as a possibility. Oh no. If I got, I'll be upset. Nope, December 2nd. We're good. Okay. All right. Woo! Interesting. Okay. All right. So this is said with the full force behind it. Okay. So going by the definition that has been given, it is not actually that hard to tell when something is metagaming because you are utilizing information that you shouldn't have. Now, immersion breaking and all of that, that's dependent on the person, right? Because somebody might, be thinking, oh, trolls are weak to fire, and that might not break them out of immersion. But if they say, oh, hey guys, don't worry, trolls are weak to fire, that might break your players out of their immersion, like potentially, right? Might not too, because everybody goes, yeah, I know, dude, let's go, yeah. Excuse me. So, I don't know. It's the thing. If you don't know the rules, it might be hard to tell what's metagaming. No, I disagree. Again, if the definition is literally just if your character doesn't know the thing, I'm sorry. let's go by the specific definition we're given here. Acting according to information the player possesses, but which their character does not. That has nothing to do with the rules, necessarily. That just is, you as a player know something, and the character does not. If you're only going by that, this has nothing to do with the rules at all. Trolls being weak to fire, yes, is a thing that's been around for a long time outside of D&D. But it doesn't mean that it's true in D&D necessarily. But if you don't know that as the rule and you're trying to utilize that as the character, that's still you metagaming, because you're using things that are outside of the game as information and you're acting upon it in character, right? So not knowing the rules is just not obliviousness, but just being uninformed, not anything about metagaming. Just meant the gameplay. So when you don't know the rules and you're playing the game in the sense of like, yeah, you know the rules and so do I, indeed. I love that song. Like, unironically, that is one of my favorite songs. So it's hard to say that because gameplay also means roleplay in D&D, right? If you're talking about specifically combat and the way that spells work and such, there's no way that you can necessarily metagame in a way that's like you knowing you knowing something outside of the game that will change how the rules work, or the gameplay kind of works. Because like, if I know, I don't know how to make that work. That it just doesn't seem like it tracks to me. Maybe there's an example that somebody can have. I don't know, but it really doesn't track. True point, my bad. No, you're good. It's fine as a suggestion. I don't see how it would work, I guess. In a way that makes sense in the metagaming perspective.
This is a very narrow perspective. Let me explain why. First off, it's just difficult to tell when something actually is metagaming or actually something a player might have figured out, even without prior knowledge and what the character should have figured out. A new player might use Firebolt on a troll for no other reason than it being on their character sheets, and discover the troll's weakness from there. Whereas an experienced player could get some nasty stares if they use it at all. Another part of...
Okay, well, so context matters in that case, right? So the new player uses it because it's their only spell. And so they learn, oh, the troll is weak to fire. And then the experienced player uses it because it's their only spell. And they know that it's weak to fire. It's completely different, I guess. The intention is different. And you... Like, I don't know. Yeah, sure. An experienced player playing a new character might be like, oh, yeah. My character doesn't know that it's weak to fire, but fire is usually good for killing things. Fire is usually looked at as the cleanser of things, so starting off with a firebolt isn't too ridiculous. Which is true, by the way. I don't know. With that kind of instance, it really just determines on the intention of the person, and so I guess yes, it's harder to tell in that instance. But I don't think it's like with the new player example, it just could happen, which is true. But I wouldn't accuse the new player of metagaming necessarily, I guess. I don't know.
The issue is that while you can feign ignorance and such, knowledge cannot be unlearned. What if you know you should avoid looking at a Medusa? Do you pretend to stumble around for a while? Ask for an ability check to act like you stumbled upon the information? Going out of your way to create the appearance of non-metagaming is in and of itself another form of metagaming.
That I agree with. But what you do is you act in character. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world to say, oh, I know this, but my character doesn't know this. Like, what do you mean? It's hard not to meta the Medusa, though. I mean, yeah, sure. So here's the thing. With a Medusa... Okay, so it really depends, right? I don't know... Excuse me. In 5e... a Medusa isn't in the regular the regular monster manual, right? I don't think so. I'll check real quick here as we're, talking about it. But, monster manual, Medusa. Okay, yeah, she is. Okay. Yeah, oh, yes, I remember this. Okay, yes. So, creatures turn to stone, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it uses eyes, it's turned 30 feet, you can force it to make a capacity. Okay, so, so here's the thing. I can still, okay, here's my questions that I would have of the situation. Because if we're going to go in a vacuum, sure. Okay? If we're going to go in a complete vacuum, whatever, sure. If the lead up to the Medusa is, hey, excuse me, hey, you're going to the Medusa's lair. Have you heard of the Medusa before you go and fight the Medusa? Are people afraid of the Medusa, and have they told you that it can turn people to stone by its gaze? Because that is the first thing that I would go, oh, do people know that this thing exists? Because it's a super powerful monster that actually is a problem. Secondarily, when you're going to the Medusa, do you see other statues of people who are also turned to stone, and their eyes are wide open, and they're gazing in horror, and all of them are looking the exact same way? No one's ever not facing the Medusa and is frozen to stone, right? They're not hunched over, not looking at the Medusa. They're all wide-eyed, looking towards whatever the thing is, right? So you at least know that it can turn things to stone. You don't necessarily know that it's the gaze, but you do know that it can turn things to stone, which could give you pause to think about it as a character who has never experienced a Medusa before. Thirdly, any foreshadowing whatsoever, any scrolls, anything else, anything that the DM has put in the way to make sure that the players are able to overcome the obstacle. Is that something that has been put into place? Because I don't care if you know what a Medusa is in real life, right? What if the DM sets it up anyway? Like, yeah, everybody goes, oh, okay, it's a Medusa. And you go, yep, cool. Glad you think so. I'm going to make sure that you know that it's a Medusa and give your characters all the information they need, right? That's the whole thing. That's what really matters, rather than the outside metagame knowledge, right? That's what matters to the game, rather than you know what a Medusa is and I know what a Medusa is. I need to make sure that the characters also know what a Medusa is. That's up to me as the DM. That goofy kobold is amusing to me. Yeah, fair enough. Excuse me. Alejo, is there a spell to make people forget things? Maybe. I can't remember. But also, I can't remember. I'm more considering the sheer range of other media that is featured in Medusa. Sure, yeah, that's fine. Again, it shouldn't matter, right, in this kind of case for a Medusa or anything like a dragon or any, like, people talk about these things, right? Like, you can easily, as a DM, set this stuff up to make it so that the characters and the world knows that these things exist. So then they are informed so that it doesn't matter that people know, like the players know what a Medusa is, right? So that it becomes a non-issue at that point is my whole thing, right? The legend says Medusa turns you to stone because she's ugly, but that Medusa is hot, so she's fine to look at, right? Right. Oh yeah, she's fine as hell. Anyway, surprised it was a cockatrice April Fools. Yeah, also could be. That's the thing. Modify memory. Thank you. I couldn't think. This whole thing reminds me to encourage your players to do research in game before going on missions. Yes, exactly. I like so much of this problem can be done away with if you properly prepare your players by allowing them to find information and giving them information. I don't know, right?
You're clearly acting in a way due to what you know, and not the character. Everyone knows what a Medusa is, by the way.
Yeah, but regardless, that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I know. It doesn't matter what anyone knows. If you're acting as the character, yes, you are still metagaming. Oh no. At that instance, like, oh, I'm trying to put myself into the position that I don't know what a Medusa is. Oh no. Is it necessarily metagaming, or am I just playing the game as the character inside it? Just because I'm not acting like I know what a Medusa is doesn't... I agree that it is, but it also isn't. Metagaming. So, whatever, man.
You can find similar things in observable trends, in and out of character. Like beasts often have intelligence too low for hideous laughter, or undead being immune to charm or frightened conditions. Trying to play around that information for the sake of appearance can make the game less fun.
Okay, well, so for that kind of stuff, that's something that people would have as general knowledge. That's how you explain that. We don't need to focus on these things that can literally be explained away as things that people know from existing. Oh, hey, I have this spell called Tasha's Hideous Laughter. I am a wizard who has learned this spell and thus know how it works. And thus, because I can read how the spell works, I know what it doesn't affect, because somebody before me created this spell called Tasha, and she did the research on it, and now everybody knows how to do the spell, and they know what it works on. Like, I am a bard. I learned this spell because I can. I may have experimented with the spell. It might be a brand new spell to me. Or I might be able to ask my wizard friend or anybody who knows magic about it and figure out what it does and what it actually is. Because how else did I fucking learn it? I don't know. I've never seen it before. I guess. Or maybe I have. I don't know. Like, we can explain that away. Oh, whenever, excuse me, if a lich is happening, ever, and undead exist in this world at all, well, guess what? Whenever I tried to charm them and make it so that they did my bidding that way, it didn't work. They tried to eat my face off. And guess what? That information got out somehow. Like, this is not a problem. This stuff is not a problem. The problem is ruining the experience for yourself, potentially, by utilizing information that your character doesn't have. That's it. If I can say and ask my DM, hey, do I know that, undead can't be charmed? Is that common knowledge? And they say, yes. Because that's universal with undead. Then it's like, oh, okay. Cool. And if they say no, then I go, I try to charm person. And it doesn't work. And I go, shit, alright, I wasted my spell. Like, it's not that big a deal to me. I don't know. Oh no, I wasted a spell slot. Yeah, they're precious in the early levels, but like, information. Maybe my character won't use Charm Person against something that looks as hideous as that next time. I don't know. I can use it and rationalize it however I need to for it to make sense in character. That's the part of the game. I don't know if you know this, but if you're playing the game, you're role-playing. You're trying to make it so that you are doing stuff as the character rather than as yourself. That's just, I don't know if that's, is that a new thing? Is that a novel concept? I don't know. Not gonna lie, I didn't know that undead were immune to charm. They don't have a brain usually, I guess, so yeah, I don't know. I honestly, it's something that if it is a universal constant and somebody brings that up, then I would go, oh, okay. Yeah, then you might know that. So you might not actually use Charm Person. I don't know. Maybe an undead might be flattered by Charm Person, really appreciate the effort. Well, this is the other thing. I could change it. If the undead has more intelligence, then maybe it can be charmed. Like, if it's a white, or if it's like one of the undead from my world that I've made more intelligent, then maybe they can be charmed. I don't know. But again, this isn't the problem. This isn't the problem at all. I don't know why, why are we pointing to a stat block and saying, just because this is the case and somebody knows this is a problem? And it's like, well, why are they acting on that information if they've never fought a mummy before? That's the problem.
And this, of course, can go the other way around. Your character might have more information than you have.
True.
The DM describes, narrates, or uses props to show off their world. But the DM not describing that the enemy is wearing heavy armor doesn't mean they aren't wearing heavy armor. Your character can tell easily, but your DM might neglect to mention it. This is not the fault of the DM for their air quote mistakes, but it's just something that happens. I've seen it many times. In general, it's just...
But that's... okay. But then you ask clarifying questions as a player. Like, what kind of armor are they wearing? Oh, okay. Well, sorry, I didn't mention the armor. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah. Yeah, you as a character... Like, your character might see things more than you. That's why you ask about them as the player, so that you are informed on the situation. What are we doing? What is the point?
Just hard to tell if something should count as metagaming. And that is without taking into account that it might be metagaming of a desirable kind. But
Okay. So I guess my ultimate point is that as metagaming is concerned, it's on you as the player whether or not you are metagaming. And if you are doing it and you find it is going to be a problem, or you are doing it in a way that you think is unfair, then you call yourself out on it, or you don't utilize the information. That's it. If somebody else, as the, excuse me, as somebody is, excuse me, if the DM says, oh, actually, you wouldn't know that information, in character, I'm sorry. And then you go, oh, okay. Then you're done. It's over. We're good. Or if you go, hey, in character, would I know this information? You're done. You're good. You've asked the question. You figured it out. That's how you know if you're metagaming or not. You clarify. It's not hard. All you gotta do is ask a question. That's it. Am I crazy? Am I going too far into this, or is this is this not as simple as I'm thinking, or am I actually insane right now? Like, I have no idea how else I'm supposed to take this. Like, what, am I missing something? Please, somebody tell me. I can't understand what's happening right now with the, like, the examples here. An expert often sees everything in their craft as common knowledge, while rookies need to get used to it. That's why starting levels in MMOs are boring to a player that's done it before. Yeah, that's true. Out of character, I probably would have expected Charm Monster to work, and would have blamed Charm Person not working on not being the right creature type for it. Yes, exactly. That's also true. That also, like, is a whole thing as well. Yes. So, well, the other thing is, to part that kind of knowledge onto players, you as a DM can describe how the spells don't work, to try to deter them from utilizing those kinds of spells in the future. You know? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we can do, like, in the game, to explain it to each other. And yeah, you might know it out of the game, but I'm sorry, I'm appealing to you as the character. I'm not appealing to you as the person, necessarily, who's sitting in front of me. I am trying to give you the experience that we both signed up for, where you pretend and I pretend, and we pretend together until we stop pretending, and we have fun doing it. Like, that's the whole point. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep harping on this, but, like, I'm very confused as to if I'm missing something or not. Like, this is, it bugs me. This is really bugging me I just don't get what we're doing here. Anyway.
Before we continue, it's ad time!
Oh,
Yay! God. This video is sponsored by the Divine Forge, Well of Ether. It's
sure.
an over 300-page DM-friendly adventure for a level 6 to 9 party.
What does DM-friendly mean? What? I would hope that most adventures are DM-friendly because they're made for the DM to run, but okay. Until we stop pretending sounds oddly threatening. True.
Villages are being raided and burnt to the ground. Families are taken away for sacrifice. There's a blood ritual happening, and you have to stop it. The ritual is speeding up the aging of a green dragon.
Oh.
Time is ticking. You're only level 6 and a complete noob. The green dragon is leveling into an ancient one very quickly. He's optimizing. There are new monster stats, DM strategies, character motivations, and tactical play.
Sure.
This book also loves fully fleshed up bad guys, including their motives, fears, lore, artwork, and ideas of how to.
It's cool, man. Like, it sounds like it could be a really cool and easy thing to plug and play. If you want all this lore and stuff to really, like, tie into things. I like that as a thing. Sacrifice blood rituals, sign me up. Yeah.
Roleplay them. Not to mention there are new items, new spells, tailored music for your immersion, and much more. There's even a water encounter and new mechanics for large-scale battles. It's filled with tips and time-saving details. It guides you on how to reduce prep time and has plug-and-play locations. This is fantastic for both new and veteran DMs because they're offering you fantastic DM advice.
Sure.
And it's always valuable to learn from other DMs with good ideas. This is a passion project with a lot of charm and care. I love this. Link in the description and comments. The Kickstarter ends soon.
This was 3 years ago, I just want you to know. So this is probably out at this point that you can buy. So go find it if it sounds interesting. I don't know. It's neat. You know. Why do people forget Great Worms are a thing? Because they're not statted out in the monster manual anymore. You just go to Ancient Dragons and that's it anymore. That's the entire reason. You're only the highest level my last campaign made it to. A complete noob. True.
So you better hurry. I highly recommend it. Check it out. Back to the video. A lot of things players do is actually just inherently metagaming. This is
okay, stop. Let's not extrapolate the fact that we are playing a game to make it into metagaming, okay? This is inherently the mechanics of the game. Yes, if you want to go by the... if we're going by the definition that you have put forth... are they acting on the knowledge they don't know? No, what they're acting on is if they hit as a character, or if they, if the opposing adversary does not get affected by their spell or not, or like they aren't acting on any of this information. You are as a player. They are acting off of what's going on in the game. They don't see the HP. They don't know their own HP. They just know they're really fucking hurt. What are you doing? What? Oh, God. I thought we would have something interesting. But it's a full circle wormling thing to wormling to great worm. Yeah, I know. I'm not the one who's arguing for it. I'm just saying that's why people don't remember these things, because, you know. On a scale of 1 to 36, that guy looks like he's at about a 14. Better heal him. Yeah, exactly. That's the out of character cheeky way that we do it. It's fun. It's funny sometimes, too. I like doing it that way. It's funny. But otherwise, if I want to keep it in realistic terms, I'd go, oh yeah, he's looking real bad, dude. He's like breathing heavy. You know, he's definitely taken quite a few hits, like that look to be pretty bad. It's rough. And then the player goes, oh shit, I should heal him. Right?
Because we interface with our characters in the form of a game. While they presumably exist in the world with only rough approximations of the mechanics of the game, characters probably know that aura of protection is helpful to them. But do they get the difference between how it interacts with a fireball that includes a saving throw, or a scorching ray spell which does not? Trying to determine what characters know becomes insanely messy, and especially if you start to police your party based on that. And that brings me to...
So no one is doing that. Huh. I will agree with you in this. Yes. If somebody is saying, "Oh, hey, our paladin has made it so that, like, it can be as simple as saying, our paladin has this field around him that makes it better. He knows it. He knows how far it goes. He says, don't walk farther than 5 steps from me. 5, proper steps from me. For you, little gnome, it's actually 10. But regardless, no, they all have the same move speed. So literally 5 steps away from me. Don't move that far out away from me, and you'll stay inside of my god's aura. You know, that my holy aura that's around me that my god will protect us in, right? And yeah, sure, they don't know the difference between it affecting fireball and it not affecting it with scorching ray, but that doesn't mean they aren't going to stop being in the fucking protective circle, because it does work. The gods exist. They know this. The paladin has literally healed them and everything. That, like, I don't need to say, hey guys, get fucked if you think that you're going to stay inside of the aura, okay? Because you think that it's going to help you against everything. You're just using metagame knowledge. It's like, well, no, you can make the fucking assumption that the characters would also assume that, because, hey, it has. In the past. It's worked. It's better than nothing. So would you look at his injuries? Would you say his injuries look light, medium, serious, or critical? Actually, legitimately, that would kind of work. Oh, hello.
Oh.
How you doing?
Am I in time to do stuff, or is it already over?
No, we're on second video about metagaming being good, actually.
Okay.
But so far he's given me very bad examples of how metagaming, is like how he sees metagaming and how it's hard to like call it out properly and such. I don't know. I'm very
okay.
I don't like this. Because
how was the first video?
The first video was fine. It was actually just fine. It was very very centered towards new players. Not centered. It was created for newer players, and it's pretty decent for all of the advice it had of how to avoid metagaming and such.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I just it's the thing of saying what he so first off, the big thing that I really dislike is him saying, "Oh, we metagame all the time because we interact with the game via a character sheet and dice." It's like, shut the fuck up. There's a mechanics in the game that is not... The characters are not utilizing the information. They are saying, "Oh, I hit," or "Oh, I didn't hit," or "Oh, they resisted my spell," or "Oh, it went."
Yeah, what the hell? It's like, yeah, you kind of need a character sheet to tell you what the character is.
Yes.
And the dice is just the medium through which you interact with the world and see whether you succeed or fail.
Yes.
That's not metagaming.
Exactly.
That is actually just playing the game.
Exactly. And then it's just like, oh, you can't necessarily tell because like a newer player might use Firebolt on a troll, and an experienced player, if they did it, then you might give them a bad look. And I'm over here like, well, the intention matters, I guess, but also like, yeah, I can't police that, and it's really up to the player to then say if this is too metagamey or not, right? And for them to decide. That's it.
I think that situation also depends on the world and how old the character is.
That too. Like, there's so many factors of like what is tribal knowledge, what is institutional knowledge, what is something that could be learned, what is their experience. Like, there's so many questions that I would have. And again, another thing he brought up was the Medusa. You know what a Medusa is, so it's basically metagaming for you to act like that you don't know what a Medusa is. And I'm like, no, I'm in character. I don't know what a Medusa is. So,
like, come on.
What happens is, and I said this whole thing of, as the DM, I try to make it blatantly obvious that yes, you know what a Medusa is. Your character learns all this shit to know what a Medusa is, because I want you to succeed.
Yes.
That's it.
And you, usually with the Medusa, you always have those moments where it's like, oh, you're walking into the Medusa's lair or whatever, and you see statues.
It's exactly what I was saying. Yes.
Yeah. Like, that happens every time.
Exactly. And like, again,
because I mean that's what they like, and you could even be like, oh, but Medusas don't always do that. Actually they do.
Yeah.
That's literally described that they love to do that.
Yeah.
And they always do that shit.
Well, even
in their lair.
Even if you just go by the monster manual version of Medusa, that's what they do mechanically as well. And it doesn't have anything to do with necessarily them themselves. It's just it happens. Whether or not it's intentional, that is how they work. And people would get that information somehow, and people in general would talk about that shit because that's fucking scary. You don't go near the Medusa, you don't come back unless you're the one guy in the party that actually did. So I'm annoyed, especially when he gives the definition of metagaming and says it's hard to tell, and I'm like, no.
Good metagaming and bad metagaming are very easy to tell apart.
Exactly. And again, it's not hard as it is. The onus is on the player to say, "Oh, I've metagamed in a bad way this time." So, just
don't.
Just
don't do it.
I'm annoyed.
Yes.
Anyway, the meta of spellcasting makes many characters many characters experts at assessing the value of gemstones. That is also true. Yes.
That's very true.
that is true.
Yeah.
You kind of take it on faith that everybody sells you the exact right like amount of a gem.
Yeah.
But that's something that is like, oh, is that metagamey in a bad way? No, I don't think so, and I don't think it matters that much, right? We can just hand wave that and go, yeah, it's metagaming, but what does it really do? It enables us to play the game. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are times when you have to, where you can metagame, but it's a helpful type of metagame.
Yeah.
Where, there are, let's say that the characters are doing a thing, and let me see, how do I actually describe this? Essentially, it is when you have that moment where the characters are like, okay, we kind of need to go over here because that's the story that is going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you kind of just metagame just a touch just to get the story moving.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to explain. What am I trying to get at here? I think a better example would be, you remember when we played, you weren't even there for that.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. Okay, you know what? Never mind. I can't explain it very well because I didn't wake up all that long ago.
Yeah, you're good. So this is the thing. Even with that case, you don't necessarily need metagaming to get something to move forward. It's up to the DM to really make things work in such a way that makes things smooth. You know? I don't know. For me, it's just like I'm just putting these things in front of you guys in Vampire, and you guys are going for them or you're not. Right? Like, yeah. And you're getting information or you're not. And I'm hopefully getting you to the point where you have enough information to make conclusions or not. Right? And I don't know. There's nothing really meta about it other than this is the stuff that I have prepared.
Yeah, no.
You know? I don't know. The only other times, again, this was the other thing to say, of just like the easiest way for you to determine whether or not that metagaming knowledge is useful, and it was something that was brought up in the first video, is ask the question. The easiest fucking
is
thing.
Is this metagaming?
Well, the easiest fucking thing is to say, does my character know this?
Oh, yes.
Right? Like, immediately you just say, oh, hey, Mr. DM man, or players, or anything. Hey, was I there, or do I know this because of experience, or what's going on? It takes away literally all hurdles. Because then you get to say, no, you don't, or yes, you do, or make a roll for it, and you might. You know? Like, and then the issue is gone. You just don't use the knowledge if you don't know it. It's so simple.
It really is.
So, anyway. I bet Pointy Hat loved it since he hates dragons. With the whole Great Worms being kind of just gone. Yeah, well, I don't think so. It's just one of those things. You're here in plenty of time to be disappointed in humanity, Boo. That is true.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's
a kindred spirit.
Hi, Boo.
Hello.
Got a second pair, 2-pair in poker. I'm metagaming. Hee hee. True.
Oh my god.
You're playing the game. How could you? Hey, that's a kobold Veruti. Don't blame humans for this one. True. Basically metagaming to not metagame. Yeah, that's weird as like logic. I don't get it at all.
I do kind of, I understand it. It's not something that I find to be particularly necessary to like dwell on, though.
Right, I agree that it is technically true, but what does that do for us?
It doesn't do anything. It's not like I said, it's not something to even be concerned about.
Exactly.
If you are metagaming in a way to prevent, if you are doing harmless metagaming to prevent harmful metagaming, then
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really matter.
Exactly. I'm trying to experience this as a character who has no idea of what's going on. That's what I'm doing. Yes, am I metagaming? I suppose, but does that matter at all? No, I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, and you're not actively going out of your way to harmfully metagame.
Yeah, and I'm not sitting here going, damn, I'm metagaming, guys.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't...
And nobody else thinks that either.
No one thinks that because we are literally just pretending like we have always done in these fucking games. We're pretending to be somebody that we're not. Oh my god. Whoa.
Crazy.
That's what fucking bugs me about this so far. It's just like, what are we doing?
Oh, sure. I hope it's not metagaming.
I guess not. Yeah, fuck me. Don't you dare. Anyway. I don't think the cute kobold is helping him now. No, not at the moment. It sure would make appraise a lot more important if you had to use it to tell which diamonds are worth 1,000 gold points. Gold pieces, whatever. Yes. Absolutely. I miss the appraise skill. It's a very, very good skill. You can utilize, I guess, intelligence or wisdom in its place in current edition if you want to, but I think it's something that you should, like, you can kind of swindle your players a little bit if you want. Just go, oh yeah, that's worth 1,000, and then they go, oh, okay, cool, and then you go, hey, so you're trying to make that spell work, and it's not actually work. Like, you let the spell go off, but it's like not as powerful. You know, you don't like
you
make
got a diamond, but it's only worth 999.
Right.
So
exactly. But like, it's just like you just gotta be careful.
If, like, the gods are like that capricious and dickish. It's like, oh my god, it's not worth. It's less than $1. That not quite enough. Fuck you. The magic doesn't work.
Right. Anyway, let's continue.
To some examples of where metagaming makes for a better game.
Sure.
It's more fun for players if you accept a new character after a player's old character has died, instead of leaving them because you don't trust them or something like that.
Okay, so yes, there is some player buy-in that you do require. Now, what... This is my preference, so this is completely from my point of view, but I actually prefer it when my players don't necessarily trust things immediately. I like that realism a little bit more, but if it gets in the way of your game, absolutely fine. Don't do it, right? I would rather everybody try to get to know each other as characters, really, rather than, you know, oh, we're all fine. You're just kind of here now. Wow. But yeah, it is what it is. So I guess yes, that is quote unquote helpful metagaming. Excuse me. Horrifying effects of true resurrection on a subpar diamond. Yes, I would love that.
Yeah. Hello, Full Metal Alchemist.
A little bit. Yeah. Be a cool quest, actually. Yeah, absolutely, to get them to back to normal. Yeah. Gods can be petty and capricious? Never. That's right.
Yeah, right?
Fruit vampire, huh? Yeah. Friendly fruit vampire. He's a Banicula, but for fruit.
I've surprisingly seen and experienced a lot of that. It sucks every time.
Sure.
There's always a fight. I remember the first time it happened to me.
Yeah, I don't think that... So, I think that if it's to the point of, like, they just leave the other character behind, yeah, that's too much. That's absolutely too much. We again, there's some player buy-in regardless of what kind of style you're going for, that we're all here to, you know, play the game together. Absolutely, I get that. But, yeah, I don't, like, instant acceptance is not my preference, again. So.
Yeah.
Like 11 years ago. I'm planning on telling that story eventually. Something similar is that hogging the spotlight by going on long solo missions is also impolite, even if it would work in fiction.
Okay, so first off, you said is impolite when you had can be impolite in your fucking text. So, I would say, read your text instead of saying is impolite, because I don't mind it when I'm not fucking playing and I'm watching somebody play a lot. Like, it's fine. Like, it's not impolite to me if I'm enjoying the experience. I don't know.
Yeah, and like, whenever that moment comes around, it's completely fine to just be like, hey, are you guys good?
Yes.
Do we want to cut over to you, or are you guys good just watching?
Exactly.
Because that pretty much happens almost every time we wind up playing together, and we're like, you know, someone's getting focused on for a while. You know, one of us asks, "Hey, are you good?"
Yeah, exactly. Everybody gets that self-conscious feeling of, "Fuck, I have been in the spotlight for too long." Yeah, absolutely. But thankfully, our group is fine with it.
More
because
I mean, you know, Yeah, because I mean that's just what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And
we don't. None of us tend to get to that point where we're like, man, I sure wish I could fucking play the game.
Yeah,
God,
exactly. Because again, we are playing the game together still.
Yeah,
it is part you are on the stage acting, and part it is dinner theater. You know, like you're watching it all play out in front of you and being entertained by it. Like it's fine. So it's all good. Banicula mentioned, yay! I love Banicula. I've loved it since I was a kid. That's probably Banicula. It was a short series of stories about a family that has a dog named I can't remember what his name is. No. So there's a dog, a cat, and then they adopt a bunny. And the cat is like super wary of the bunny for a long time, and then they find that vegetables keep appearing that are completely drained of color and everything. And
I see.
And the cat is like, "Oh my god, we gotta kill that fucking vampire rabbit! It's Banicula!"
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's very funny.
I used to read those when I was a kid. They were so good. I've always loved vampires. Literally, it's crazy. Anyway. How do you leave a character behind? Make them leave the table or make them play solo? Oh, they just don't accept the character into the party, and so the player has to make a new character.
Yeah.
It sucks.
That's fucked.
Yeah, it's not great.
Don't do that.
No.
To bring it back to an earlier point, I actually believe that metagaming can create a better experience in certain scenarios. The purpose of a game mechanic is to provide additional points of interaction for gameplay.
Yes.
Let's look at the troll. They regain health
here we go.
at the start of their turn, except if they take acid or fire damage. If you have no idea about this mechanic, you are just whacking the troll more times until it finally died.
Okay, alright, so before you go into your thing, it is up to the DM at that point to make it clear that this is something that can happen. Like, I don't know why you're acting like this isn't something that can be communicated to people when they're playing in character with characters that don't know the world. Like, I don't know how a fucking capybara is going to act when I go and see one, okay? I don't know if I'm ever going to see one, but they
are going to act ridiculously chill.
Well, so this is what I hear. Sure. But I don't know that. So I have to act on the information that I know / that I have heard of, which, great. Okay. Then I learn things. Amazing.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's how it works? I don't know. Yes, as the DM, you have a little bit of god power, and you get to say, hello, you are fighting a troll now, and guess what? As you're fighting the troll, there's like, it's got like a campfire, because everything likes fire, at least to a degree, as long as they aren't...
It likes to be warm, at least.
Yeah, they need to be warm most of the time, and it has a fire, and it's cooking its meal over it. Okay? Like, it knows how to cook. It's a troll. It has an intelligence score that's above a beast, so it at least knows how to cook.
Yes.
So it's cooking up, body parts of people. And then, hey, as you're fighting it, as you come across it, it kind of scalds its hand, and you watch as, like, before that, it cuts its hand pretty bad. Right? But then it just heals it back. And then,
it didn't care.
It didn't care at all. But then it scalds its hand, and it goes, really badly. And then, guess what? That burn just doesn't go away for a while as you're watching it. And then, it starts to, after a while, regenerate. So something about that might be something that you could use.
Yeah. Hell, you don't even have to go to that length.
No, you don't.
Even though that is that's a perfectly fine way to do it. The easiest way to do it is be like, oh, you see a troll. You guys already know. that it's weak to fire, because trolls are a well-documented,
Yes.
relatively common monster that people have been fighting for literally decades or centuries. People know that they're weak to fucking fire.
Exactly.
It's okay.
If that works in your world, if that works for what you want, then you can absolutely do it that way too. There are so many ways to, acid as well. Yes, you can have them know that it's acid as well. Don't get me wrong. Yes, absolutely. It's just you just need to you need to have, as a DM, you need to understand the world that you have created. You have to understand what is common knowledge, and then you have to also understand how to set up things for your players to learn. And it's really not that hard. It really isn't. I know that literally everyone can do it. Everyone.
Almost bold words, but
I know, but I'm gonna make the generalization.
Oh my god.
Everyone can learn to DM. Everyone.
I can't believe he said that.
I know.
Oh my god.
I know. I'm sorry. I have so much faith in people.
Pretty cringe, bro.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I just it's it's videos like this that just make me just really mad, because it's so like, I don't know why it's so obtuse, you know? Anyway. If excuse me, if someone did that to me, it would help the big bad kick their ass instead. Oh yeah, if that actually happened in a game and like people were upset about it at the point where like they get to maybe some kind of thing later on, I'd be like, hey man, you want to play your character? And then it's like, you want to be on my side?
Yeah, right.
But you know, anyway. Oh yeah, and also, unless it's a frost troll, sure. But even then, you would then say, oh, well, they just don't like fire because it's a frost troll.
Right. That's easy.
Most
people have played at least one Pokemon game.
It's more fundamental than that. Most people have experienced ice.
Yeah, it's true. And most people have also experienced the fact that ice tends to melt when it is warm.
Exactly. That's it. That's all you need to do. Anyway, chant 10 Hail Carabes in penance.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, please.
Thank you, Dave. Everyone, only Sith steal in absolutes, Alejo. Well, this time around, I guess I'm going dark side, dude. I can't help it.
Yeah.
I can't help it this time around. Anyway, go on with your fucking explanation.
If you know it has this trait, the combat instead changes into trying to make the fight easier by finding ways to apply fire. Similarly, when fighting a
yeah. Okay. So, if you don't know it, it takes for fucking ever. If you do know it, it doesn't take for fucking ever. And it's a different fight. Yes, I agree. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I need to metagame the knowledge in there.
Oh my god.
Basilisk, you get to do things like obscuring their sight or setting up a mirror, if you know how they function.
Again, why is like setting this up as the DM not even entering the conversation yet? It's the easiest way to create the experience of playing as characters that don't necessarily know the information. And even if they do, then guess what? They can tell the information to the characters that don't. Like,
it's not hard to just say, I know that this is a thing. I tell them that it is a thing.
It's used, in that case, as a bonding experience, in a way, to say, hey guys, we're a team. I'm going to share how to kill the thing we're going to kill, so that we can all succeed and get the gold.
Are we playing OG D&D now?
I don't know. Yes, and also, I don't know, maybe they got gold for the quest to kill the trollers, whatever the fuck.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair.
I don't know. Like,
They got a useless currency.
Yeah, that's right.
Not good for anything.
Am I fucking...
They should have get paid in Electrum.
True. Am I insane, though? Like, I don't know why this is happening right now. Like, I don't know what is going on with this video.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Okay. I'm struggling to, like, parse it because I don't understand if I've missed something, like,
Mhm.
that makes it so that this is the information that needs to be distributed, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Knowledge is power. You shouldn't share it with the other players or characters. That's right.
Otherwise, these things might never come into play. And even with descriptions, not all players will understand their implications.
I agree.
Oh.
I agree that not all players will understand everything that you put in front of them. I agree with that 110% even. There are so many times where it's happened where I haven't gotten something somebody else has. And hell, Vampire happened. Everybody but, Boo got something immediately. And then the other two, they took them a little while, but they got there eventually about it. And then, you know, we all got it. And it was just like, oh, hey, that's a thing. And I go, yes, it was.
It was a thing.
And,
oh my god.
And it's like, I'm glad you all got on. It's a whole thing. So, yeah, it happens. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Like, you should just at least try to get them to understand it. And yeah, if it's as blatant as a note that they find of gouge out the basilisk's eyes so that it doesn't, like, fucking turn you to stone or whatever. I don't actually remember. Yeah, but yeah, that's what it does.
Yeah, they do petrification.
Don't let it look into your eyes or whatever the fuck. That's blatant. That's fine.
Yeah, because you are just trying to inform them. It doesn't have to be fucking whimsical and all this bullshit.
It can be informative so that they can succeed. That's the whole point.
In mechanic terms, or even be aware that these are interactions at all. Now, don't get me wrong, this does not mean there shouldn't be any surprises at all. But in general, features you can react to and deal with are more fun and interesting than features that are completely mysterious.
I agree that they are, like, being able to interact with things is good. Now, nobody has said one way or the other of surprises being bad, or the fact that if you don't, or if you are explaining this to them, that they can't interact with them, or if you, like, see literally all of the reasons that I've said already, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because, like, fucking, yeah, no shit. If I explain to them through in-game prompts how things work, they get to interact with them. If they don't get it, they don't get it. I'm sorry. People can miss things and it becomes a different experience. I'm sorry. Yeah. I did all that I could. Like, if they come about the game, like, if the session happens, okay, and they're fighting the basilisk and they never figure it the fuck out, and they go, damn, that was a really annoying and hard fight. I didn't like that. I go, hey man, I'm sorry. I really tried to tell you about this stuff. I really did. You just didn't get it, and that's okay.
Yeah,
and
because you still won, and blah, blah, blah.
And even if they all died, and it's just like, well, I really tried to prepare you for this, and I'm sorry about that. Next time, I'll try to prepare you in a different way that might be better. And you might, you know, you might be able to get this stuff pretty easily. I don't know. I'm trying to make it so that it's all in character for you.
I didn't realize you were that fucking dumb.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Interaction is more fun than non-interaction.
Thank you.
Am I right? Trying too hard to prevent metagaming turns what could still be a more engaging fight where the players need someone to deal fire damage every round into a messy negotiation with the DM or players and their subjective idea of metagaming. The better outcome would just to let it...
But okay, you literally gave us the common and accepted definition of what metagaming is. You gave us that in your video. Why are we not working off the assumption then that most, if not all people, according to you having the actual common used or commonly used definition, why are we not using that as things that people know? Because if you're going to point to it to say, this is what most people say, then why are you not pointing to it now? You can't have it both ways. You really can't. If you're gonna bring it up and use it as your example, you gotta remember that you used it.
Slide. Fights are usually not worth it. For you DMs out there, if it was really something you didn't want the players to know, you could make the monsters less recognizable.
Yes.
Or reflavor it completely. To make battles interactive and interesting, let players know how monster features work as soon as appropriate. Maybe upon first encounter, or with audio or visual cues, or maybe the first time the feature is used.
Yes.
You also might want to hide away the information behind the check. But you have to ask yourself if you actually like the outcome if the players fail. Take, for example...
I agree with you on that, but also you can, like, the information is going to be given to them somehow, regardless of if they get it or not, right? Especially with something like these, like the petrifications of a basilisk and a Medusa, or the troll's, regeneration ability. Like, they know that this is happening, because they're watching it happen to the troll visually, or just however you're doing this kind of game. Like, it's all being told to them because things are happening in front of them. Because that is at least what you should be doing when you're describing these situations. And I just find it very strange that you have now brought this up now. Like, I agree. Set it up. Absolutely. It's not metagaming. Well, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we talking about? We don't even need to go into the camp of metagaming if we're setting it up in-game. So what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Temple rock grubs. These worms can only be removed by dealing fire damage the turn after they hit you, or by curing the disease. Otherwise, you're gonna die. If you hide this behind a check, your player's character is basically doomed if they fail. Instead, you could tell the players something like, the rock grubs latch on and begin to burrow into your skin. You realize you have but a moment to burn them away before it'll be too late.
Well, why would I say that specifically?
Yeah, why would I immediately say, oh, you think that, fire will instantly... Why do you instantly go to fire?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but why would I think, as a person, if I look down at a leech that's on me, that if I burn it away, that's the thing? Like, I want to put fire to my skin.
Yeah, no, I would try to yank it off first.
Exactly. That's what everybody does when they first encounter a leech. They try to yank it off, and guess what? It doesn't usually work so well, because they're fucking little fuckers.
Yeah.
And they latch the fuck on.
You know what's the fucking worst? When you see a roach, and you're like, fuck, I gotta burn the house down.
Yeah, exactly, right? No, it's, like, I get that it's not great if, people can't figure out a mechanic of some sort. I get that. And they die because of their ignorance. That's just, that sucks. I get it. I understand that. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. I would try to give them as much warning as possible about it. And if it's something like this that requires a check, like, okay. Yes, in this case, I wouldn't require a check for it, I guess. I would tell them, oh, this is happening to you, and it's, like, as you're healing yourself, you can feel that it's still draining you of your quote-unquote health, whatever. That's not gonna do... you're gonna have to figure out how to get this thing off of you, or out of you somehow. You can make a medicine check, all that kind of stuff. And, like, I can set the DC low, I guess, or whatever I need to do. Like, to make it so that it's something that they go, oh, well, now I figure this out because I'm utilizing my skills. Or I go, hey, you are proficient in medicine, right? And they go, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, your friend there has fucking maggots inside of him.
Gross.
Pretty bad. you need to you got to figure out like a way to get those things off of him, and you're pretty sure that like using some sort of divine magic or potentially doing something that's more painful but
More aggressive.
yeah, more aggressive as a cure could really work in this instance. And you know, you can try something, and then as they're trying stuff, like I'd get them to a point potentially to say, all right, you've tried so much, give me an intelligence roll or something, right? Like, oh, okay, well, you've tried everything but fire. Right? Like, I don't know.
Like, even that would never enter my fucking mind.
It's just
I'm like
at that
oh
point,
my
it's
god,
like,
I've tried this. I've tried curing.
That's what
him,
I'm saying.
I've tried healing him. I've tried yanking them off. I guess the last option, fire.
Right, exactly. It's so weird to go to, absolutely. But if it's like so bad in the sense of like they've been trying everything else forever, then it's like I don't know, man. I guess I gotta just give you the answer so that you don't just die from nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like what it would be in this instance is if they were really skilled in medicine.
Yeah.
Maybe that at some point they ostensibly they are probably a healer of some kind,
Right.
either a paladin or a cleric or something like that.
Right.
And maybe during the course of their teaching,
Yeah.
they're like, you learned a little bit about leechcraft and how
Sure, yeah.
sometimes leeches get stuck on there so bad that they actually have to be burned off.
Yes, exactly.
They
Something
need
like
to
that.
have fire applied to their body in order for them to be like, oh shit, I can't stay here. Pop, and they're off.
Yes, exactly. Something like that. That's where I should have gone with it. My brain was I'm just fucking struggling right now.
Yeah, no, you're just done.
Like, it's just, like, absolutely. That's the easiest way to kind of do that, so that somebody who has the semblance of the information, whether it be divine healing or just some kind of medical proficiency, they should understand what it is and be able to utilize, like, you're playing to what the character is, right? You're playing to what they've made so that they can actually do it as an in-character knowledge thing. Rather than you just saying, hey man, just burn it off, man. That's crazy. That's crazy, but you gotta just
still
burn
would
it
be
off.
very funny.
It would be funny. It'd be super funny. But like, yeah.
You know what you ought to do? You ought to set them on fire. You ought to burn those leeches down.
Yeah. So yeah, at this point, I do think Metagaming is Good actually would have been the right title for this one. You know, Shin, in the beginning, I didn't agree with you, but now, absolutely, it's that annoying that I'd absolutely look for that title at this point.
Yeah.
I hate this. As an American, I can't try fire until it's the last option because it's the custom of my people not to do the right thing until we've done everything else. True. True. Fair. Oh yeah, I hate that idea too. That's why I'm sharing it. Yeah. That reminds me of a Homer Simpson quote. Oh yeah, fire. Yeah, true. All right.
This allows them to react. Sharing information even helps the DM keep track of intricacy of features, as a player can point out if they make a mistake, like letting a feature work without sight. In 4th edition, players were actually given descriptions of both abilities and how they would appear in the world, and in game terms for clarity. That brings...
But you can do that in D&D's current edition too.
Yeah.
You know how spells have like descriptions and shit?
Yeah.
You know how like you swinging a sword can be described in certain ways? You know how like the game is about describing how you do things and how other people do things? That's crazy. Whoa. All right. Oh, now we're going to say that this definition kind of sucks. Oh, because you don't agree with it? Because you have this weird concept of what metagaming is? Okay. Neat.
Brings me to the definition of metagaming. The term is often used in a less than useful way, and I think
It really isn't, though.
What the fuck are you
We
on about?
literally all understand what it means because this is what it means. This is the
Yeah,
only
that's-
definition that really matters with how it works.
Yeah.
So, like, if somebody else is using it in the way that you're saying, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing with it. Like,
God.
what just...
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
What am I supposed to do with... Okay, what's your definition then? Tell me what yours is. Fucking hell.
I think I prefer the definition Tabletop Builds brings up.
Okay. This section was almost called a new definition.
Metagame is a set of rules and structures that lie outside the rules of the game but still affect the game. What?
What?
That doesn't even fucking... Never mind.
So,
You know
yes, things that are outside of the game that affect the game is metagaming. But that's not useful.
Yeah, no, that doesn't mean anything.
The whole reason why we do it with the definition that we do it with is because it is directly affecting you as a character. And that's the only way that it really matters, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you as a character, or you as a player using knowledge that your character doesn't know, affects your character.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else's characters, because you are not necessarily, like, potentially cheating, I guess, but you're cheating yourself of the experience of the character that you have made that wouldn't know that information.
Mm.
It's like you have skipped the steps and now you just know things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, why? Oh, because I do. Yeah. But it's just like, oh, okay. But why? Oh. Because I don't want to fail. It's like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I also don't want to fail.
Sure, I also don't want to fail, but that doesn't mean that it's not entertaining to fail. That's also, like, I don't know if you know this, but part of the game is succeeding and failing so that you can have those successes feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the same thing as, like, why are there bad things that happen? Oh, I don't know. I don't fucking know why bad things happen. But guess what? Because bad things happen, I can appreciate the good things. Like, way more.
Mm.
So what the fuck am I doing? What, like... Okay.
Yeah.
Which is used in every game outside of tabletop RPGs. The metagame is about things that transcend the actual rules of the game.
So that's just the meta, I guess.
Yeah, that's not... Oh my god.
So the meta about, like, the fact... Like, if I look at you and say, why was this movie made? The meta is so that people can make money for it. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, that's why the movie was made. But I don't care about the meta. That doesn't affect the quality of the movie. You know?
Such a... real life metagaming.
Yeah, like, I just... What?
Why did you eat that food? Because I need calories to keep my body running so that I don't perish.
Exactly. Like, that's the meta. Oh, okay, that's not interesting at all. I just like it.
No,
that's also not interesting
it's not
necessarily.
That, oh man, I love this fucking food. No. I specifically eat for calories, nothing more.
Yeah, exactly. With this definition, house rules can be classified as metagaming. That is true.
That is very true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Which is like, wow.
This is a worthless.
It is.
This is a less than worthless definition of metagaming.
It is absolutely worthless because it's like, what am I supposed to do then?
Yeah.
If everything is metagaming, then nothing is. You know?
Oh, and by the way, you want to know something else that lies outside of the game? The rule book.
True.
The characters don't know anything about the rules of the game that they exist in, so are we supposed to just sit around and literally just pretend with no rules?
Which we could do, but it would be completely different.
But then you're not playing a game, you're just pretending.
Like, you are, but it's completely different. It's not the same at all. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, at some point we're gonna make rules. And it's like, oh, shit. What do we do then?
No, that's metagaming, no.
Like, I don't... I just don't get what use this gives us. I really hope that you explain it there, Pack Tactics, because I need to know what am I supposed to gain from this?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Bad things happen because it's hilarious, true. What Losing is fun. Dwarf Fortress Wiki. True.
Hey,
it's
and also RimWorld.
I was gonna say it's also a difficulty in RimWorld.
Yep.
Is this guy a gamer at all? Apparently, but also doesn't understand. I don't know. The best part of freeform gameplay is that you don't even need a game group. True, I can just imagine shit on my own if I really want to.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that is true.
What does this do for you? You know, I just.
A metagame is a set of rules and structures that lie outside of the rules of the game, but still affects the game. For example, in video games, it might be said that the metagame is not to use a particular character, even though they are powerful, because they are weak against the most popular characters. Decisions are being made based not just on the game, but on the behaviors of other players.
Sure.
This has some overlap with the previous definition. For example, a character yelling, "There's no way that's a real ancient dragon, we're only level 3, fits both definitions. Using any...
But why would the character yell that? They don't know what level 3 is.
Yeah, nobody would yell that. What are you on about?
What are you talking about? What?
If the DM says that something is there, it's there.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
It does not matter what level you are.
Yeah, and also...
Have you never played Skyrim?
Well, the other thing is, like, yeah, it could not be real, I guess, but that's called an illusion that you would then have to figure out if it's an illusion or not. Like, it's a part of the process. Like, I don't... What do I gain from this?
Yeah. This is completely worthless.
What?
Again.
Why did you not dodge the wizard? Why did you not dodge that rock, rogue? My player missed the check.
Oh my god.
Like, yeah, true, I guess. Like, and then the wizard goes, "What?" And then you both explode because you realize that the universe is not what you thought. I don't know. Like, I don't...
Anything on your character sheet is never metagaming by this definition, as things like your hit points and spell slots are simply part of the game and the game's world itself.
Okay, so you were the one who proposed that us interacting with the character sheet and the rocks, the little math rocks, is metagaming. You were the one who said that. No one says that. Because guess what? It is. But nobody gives a fuck. Because it doesn't affect the character's knowledge. The characters work off if they hit or not. They don't give a fuck if I rolled my clicky-clacky math rock and I got a fucking 2. And then I get a plus 17. And I actually
That's
hit.
Bullshit.
I know. It's crazy. But, like, I still hit. Guess what the character knows? They fucking hit.
Yeah, like Christ.
Compartmentalization is so easy. Okay? It is. I'm sorry. Because guess what? I don't fucking think whatsoever about the dice existing when I don't have to roll them, and when I'm rolling them, my character isn't fucking thinking, man, it's taking a while for me to, like, do anything.
Yeah, it's taken a long time for those dice to actually stop rolling so I could figure out if I did a thing or not.
Yeah. None of that happens.
This is dumb.
It is.
Why do we do this?
I thought this would be interesting as a video when it says metagaming can be good.
Yes, metagaming can be good.
Sure.
Honestly, you know what? If you want a video about good metagaming, if this has annoyed the hell out of you, you should watch the Seth Skorkowski video about good metagaming. That actually has good examples.
Yeah, I'm sure that actually does. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing.
If you're interested, we could do that.
No, I'm not interested. That's the thing. I don't need to know that. That's the thing.
Okay.
Because metagaming doesn't fucking matter to me much because it doesn't affect anything that I've done unless I accidentally metagame, which I am aware of in the moment, right? That's
unless
the
it's
only
an accident and you're unaware of it.
Yeah, and then somebody will call me out on that, and then I go, "Oh shit, sorry, let's retcon that," right? That's the whole thing, right? There is nothing else that matters to me in that point, other than if I know something and I feel like it's reasonable for my character to know it, I then go, "Hey DM," or "Hey whoever's running the game, whatever role they are in the gaming sphere, hey." Does my character know this? Because I feel like it's something that my character should know, because it's pretty, easy to find out that information, and we've kind of been alive for, like, I don't know, a few years at this point in the world, so maybe I should know that. And then my DM says, yeah, or oh no, or roll for it. And then we never think about it again unless it's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so, like, that's the times where I think metagaming can be good, where you add to the knowledge of the world, right? Of, like, the knowledge of general things that characters would know, and make it so that everybody, excuse me, you've set the precedent that everybody would know this kind of stuff. That's good, I feel, because you are building the world a bit more in that way.
Yes.
So there you go. That's your good metagaming thing. Fucking this guy hasn't said that at all.
Yeah.
The fucking last video did. The last video is saying avoiding metagaming by doing that so that you know if you're metagaming or not. That video is so much better than this one. It was like there's 3 less minutes of that video.
Oof.
Come on. It's because there wasn't an ad for anything but the Patreon, and that took like 2 seconds. Anyway. What is this? The characters manifest themselves into reality just to crap on the player's rolls. True.
Yes. Oh my God.
Character, quit making me die with those dice, you stupid fuck. Exactly. The characters manifest themselves into reality and completely ruin the entire Star Ocean franchise. Sad. I remember that shit. That was wild. I remember hearing about that. That was weird. Anyway,
What happened? Sorry.
the characters manifest themselves into reality, like the characters of Star Ocean manifested themselves into reality.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's so
God,
dumb.
I fuck. Star Ocean 3. I want to
Yeah,
say.
I remember
Fuck
hearing about that,
game.
and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yep, I was the one that told you about it.
Yeah,
actually,
it probably was. Yeah, it probably was you. That's
because
right.
I tried playing through it and I got so angry
Yes.
because it was just so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Ruined the whole game for me. Legitimately, one of the worst twists ever. 0 out of 10.
There you go.
Would not recommend.
Those to be metagaming just makes the word a lot less useful.
Yeah,
To end this video,
that's crazy that it would make the word a lot less useful because nobody fucking does it with that with any interpretation of what metagaming is except for you. So yes, if we all followed the same fucking thought patterns that you do, it would be useful. Like, or it wouldn't be useful at all, I guess. Yeah. You're right.
That
Wow.
doesn't really mean anything though, does it?
No.
let me just say there are, of course, limits that should be drawn in regards to metagaming.
Sure,
Not
yeah.
all of it is okay.
No shit.
Reading
No
ahead
shit.
in an adventure or looking up stat blocks to use that information.
These are easy
in the
dunks, I
current
don't care.
fight should only be done with table consent.
Mm-hmm.
However, that is not to say that players shouldn't be allowed to look at stat blocks
I also
or the
agree.
DMG at all. If you look at
Really?
spells
You would let
and
people look at
features that
stat
players-
blocks for monsters in an adventure they're currently playing?
In an adventure they're currently playing is not what he was talking about, I don't think. Just in general.
Well, he said that.
Just in general, if I have no control whether or not you look at a stat block, okay? That is literally out of my control. If you want to ruin the experience for yourself in that way, I cannot stop you. I would advise against it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I would advise against it because it will ruin that experience for you. And also, you might not have the same information that I have created the monsters for. But,
True.
like, if you're going to act upon that information, you're ruining it for yourself and others. That's just it,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Okay, well, at least, yeah.
the only...
For a second there, I'm like, wait, you're okay with that?
No, I literally...
Not exactly okay with it.
Yeah, I
but
literally can't do anything about it.
Stop you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's the same with anything. It's like I can't stop anybody from doing anything. Whether or not they find it to be something that they want to do, that's up to them. If they're going to utilize that information, however, it's up to them. You know, whatever they do. There's nothing that I can do about it.
Yeah.
So, what am I supposed to do? Say no, don't fucking do that? Well, I'll just say, I really advise that you don't, but okay. Right?
players have access to. Many make use of stat blocks. Some examples
Also true.
include Wild Shape, Polymorph, conjure animals, true polymorph, and so on. Then there's the possibility that a player might be a DM themselves. Or they like looking at stat blocks in their pastime. Or maybe they want to be a DM one day. None of that is an issue. It is only an issue when
easy
you're trying
dunks.
to
I don't care.
subvert the game. For any good story, surprise and tension can be part of what makes them engaging as they highlight triumphs further. Knowing everything can definitely decrease fun if the correct choice is immediately obvious and leads to fewer interactions with the highlight of the encounter. Especially
Your video would have been shorter and more succinct if you had just said in the beginning, there are exceptions to metagaming. Not all of it is good. We don't need to go into the ways that it can be detrimental because we all understand that at this point.
Yeah.
And like, if you're making this for new players, sure, you can go into it, but I don't feel like that's what you're doing. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
especially if they are meant to be revealed organically. The good thing is that challenges in D&D are designed as part of a game with mechanics to abide by, which means that situations where knowing the encounter's gimmick would reduce enjoyment is more uncommon. Conclusion: metagaming, as it's commonly defined, is not a universal evil, nor does it have to break the immersion of the game.
I agree with the second part.
Stopping the game in its tracks whenever a hint of metagaming is detected, games can be improved by letting it slide or even integrating it into the story, allowing players
See, that I would agree with. That's the thing of like saying, oh, well, I know this is as me, and is it common knowledge in the game world? Like, that's that stuff, yes, agreed. But you didn't say that. You went into this whole spiel about fucking math rocks and shit, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
We respond to the game rather than acting blindly. End of video. Thanks again to Tabletop Builds. Check out the article. They deserve the credit for their work. I'm ready
agree.
to go to bed now. Check out
Me
the
too.
Divine Forge, Well of the Ether Kickstarter.
It looks
and
neat.
if you like what you see, they hope to earn your support.
This was 3 years
the link
ago.
is
It's probably
in the
out.
description and comments. And remember, the Kickstarter ends soon. Thank you for watching.
It's already over.
Bye-bye.
Ugh.
All right.
Yeah. Meh.
I remember us covering Pack Tactics once, and it being fine. Like, it being a good video, in fact.
I do too.
But, like, that's not.
This one, nope.
It's not. It's not at all. Because, again, I feel like you've misunderstood what people utilize metagaming for as the meaning, and also you've misunderstood how people view the game itself. Because nobody... Voice. Metagaming is not a universal evil. Text. Metagaming is good. These are not the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, that's very true.
I know. It's just this video is wild, honestly. Just wild in what we're supposed to like assume and take away from it. I don't understand how you could do this. But thank you.
How could you do? How could you?
Thank you so much. Thank you. You've made my night worse. Okay.
Oh,
Sorry. I'm very annoyed at that. I really did not enjoy that. Okay. Excuse me. Anyway. Thankfully, I haven't coughed too much, so didn't ruin the entire stream. We're going to move on to comments, and before I tell you that you can leave if you wish to, there is one that's made specifically for you.
okay. Well, I'm gonna leave.
Oh no! but
right,
there is. Okay, hang on. Let me get it up on the screen. Because we only got 2 comments. They're pretty short.
Okay.
So I'll do the one that's for you first.
Okay.
So this comment was on our 7th session of Sunrise and Sin City, Light and Shadow.
Oh. Okay.
This is from Mighty Beans Fan 2008.
Okay.
Saying, I don't know if this comment will be read, but I'm glad to hear Boo's voice again, after years upon years of Let's Play watching. It's been like 8 years since I last saw anything, and I've had a nostalgia rush. I shall be subbing and keeping in touch with the channel, mainly just out of interest. Much love to you all. Heart emoji.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
I hope you wind up joining the Discord.
Yeah.
But if I've never seen you here in the actual active podcast, so maybe not.
Yeah,
who knows?
But thank you for the comment, and thank you for watching such. And if you get to this point and you see this, hey, continue.
Yeah.
Because it's fun, and I hope you enjoy.
Yes. Because we also play video games as well. We do. Oh, you know what? If he's seen that, maybe he's already seen that.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever. And then Timothy also left a comment saying, "Hello, bros. Still working on lore. This was a great episode as always." That was last week's. The first video was pretty annoying with the overused running jokes, but oh well. Time for me to go watch more anime. Have a nice day. Thank you. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one as well. Answering comments is metagaming. I know, Pizza Funk. I'm sorry.
It doesn't have anything. It's outside the scope of the video. So
yeah, it's true. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna shout out and chill some stuff. And then we'll get the fuck out of here. If you wish to stick around, you can. If you do not, then you may depart if you wish.
I mean, I may as well. I'm just waiting for Total War Warhammer 3 to load.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I could write a better defensive metagaming for a comment, but we're already past April 1st, so I wouldn't have an excuse to hide behind. That's alright, Shin. I really think the best example is just saying, hey, I know about this stuff in my life. Would my character know this stuff? Like, that's the easiest thing to then utilize that information and turn it into something that works in-game. That's the best way that I can at least think about metagaming, and it's the only way that I really care as something that would even affect anything, you know? So, whatever. Do things as you will. That's how I see it. Anyway, well, if you're still here, we have ways for you to financially support us if you wish to. Excuse me. And
support his his deteriorating health.
That's right. Continue to make me sick by supporting us financially. That sounds bad.
Yes.
Anyway, so we have a Patreon and we have a Ko-fi. Both of them give you benefits, being shouted out at the end of the podcast, and as well as becoming a table flipper on our Discord, which then allows you to see the editing streams and see stuff early. So all of the vampire stuff that I get up early, you can see before anybody else, as well as being a part of the patron only games when I run them and such. There's a few things that you can have, right? So if you wish to, you can go for as little as $1 a month and you get to become a table flipper. So go do it if you want to. That being said, a big thank you goes out to our tier 4 contributors, that being Draco Kraken, Rick aka Unit Rico, and Steely. Big thanks, big ups, appreciate you immensely. And of course, a thank you goes to Crimson Rose for being in tier 2. Thank you. And a thank you goes out to our tier 1 contributors. Little as $1 a month if you wish to join. That being said, we still have the TeePublic merch shop open for you to get stuff on. The Fourth Wall stuff will take over this once I get with the boys and we make some new designs and such of things. We just got to get together at some point and actually do that when we have time. It might happen at some point. We will see. But regardless, there's all the stuff that you have seen many a time that you can get over on TeePublic on whatever they sell them for. And now you can go over to Fourth Wall, that's being the dash tabletalk crew, the dash tabletalk dash crew dash shop.fourthwall.com. Link is in the description. You can go get the coasters, our PFPs that we have on the screens here as coasters, and I have mine.
Oh my god!
I have mine right here.
You mean that I could I could put a drink on my own face?
Yes, you could.
I don't think I will.
Okay. But yes, they're all there. You can go and get the coasters if you wish to. They are right there. I have literally all 3 of them right here for my samples that I bought. And they're pretty decent. They're a little darker than you would expect from the usual artwork that we have. But maybe that's just because the artwork is actually this dark. I don't know. Maybe my eyes are wrong. I don't know. But they look a little darker than you would expect, but I think they are pretty nice. So go get the coasters if you want. And the dice will also be moved over here when I get the chance, and I will do that later today, if not tomorrow, while I am resting. Anyway, you can also go over to our website that I have revamped a little bit. Oh, this didn't... Oh, wait. I can just do that. There we go. Oh, that was weird. Why did that do that? That's very strange. That shouldn't look like that. All right. Well, some things aren't working like I thought they were, but the website has been revamped a little bit. I gotta fix that. Whoops.
Oh my god, technical difficulties? No.
No, it's not technical difficulties. It's me not updating the website in time.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So, but you can look at all the stuff here. It's got the things here, and you can go over to the Support Us Further tab here to look at all of the things that I have talked about and will talk about, that being the Patreon, the Ko-fi, the TeePublic stuff. I will also have to put the fourth wall and everything through here. And you can get the dice through here for now until they are on fourth wall, so I can get it through that and make it a little easier for it to be bought. So yeah, that's the dice are here. There's 96 sets, and they'll be moving over to the fourth wall, and I will put it over there when it is ready. Of course, another thing being the link to Humble Bundle in our description. You can go and click that, or copy paste it into your browser, and anything you get through it, we will get a percentage of commission for it being used. So it's like it's like a 5%, I think, just in general of traffic, I think. Nice. So it's, you know, it doesn't really give us a lot in that case,
but it gives us something.
It does. It no longer is taking away from the actual amounts that you give to charity and the developers and all of that through the sliders of these bundles anymore, which I think is better. So please, if you wish to go on Humble Bundle and use the link, do that so that you can get things that way. Right now, and I think when this goes live as the VOD, the Delta Green one will still be there for you to go and get for a limited time. So if you haven't gotten the Delta Green RPG, VTT, and Fiction collection, you should, because there's a lot of good stuff there. There's also the Battletech RPG collection here, I see. So there you go.
Yep.
There's a map-making mega bundle. There's the World of Dragonlance, apparently.
Oh, yo.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here that's on the front page. So use the link in our description if you want to go check that stuff out. And then whatever you buy, you know, you'll be supporting charity as well. And last but not least, of course, we have now a link in our description to go to DriveThruRPG, which also works via commission. If you buy anything within 15 days of clicking our link or using our link, we'll get a 5% commission. And yeah, it also works for the cards, comics, and fiction section, in the sense of using the affiliate part of the link. I don't know if you can go to DriveThruRPG, and then if you go through that, then go to other places, that they will also count that as the link. I don't know. I have links for literally all of them, so I just don't want to fill our description with links, you know, because that would be kind of annoying. But I will make sure to put these on the actual website as links so that you can go to specific sections if you wish to go to the other ones. But DriveThruRPG has a lot of good stuff that you can get on there for RPGs. Whoa!
Oh my god.
So I would highly recommend it, because I have bought some things through here, and they're pretty damn good.
Yep.
So yeah, link in our description. Don't forget. But of course, if you don't want to use any of those links, if you don't want to buy anything, then of course you can subscribe, like the videos, comment on the videos, and share the videos with people that you know, just to get us out there some more, so that we can continue to grow, because we have actually gone over 750 subscribers. We're at 751, which
God.
is a lot more than I thought we would get to over time. Closer to 1,000 than we originally, when we were originally talking about being at 1,000. So it's good.
God.
It's good.
Nice.
We're closer to that than we are to 500 technically.
Yeah, that's one way of putting
by
it.
one.
Yeah.
But anyway, that being said, hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you continue to enjoy, and we will see you next week for more of the show and other things, of course.
Yes.
All right, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.